All right, we are live. What's going on today? What kind of show this be about? I got nothing for nobody. But I do have my popcorn. I do have my tea, and I am just going to be bored. For anyone else who's bored, don't care. I'm going to watch B Kong's show. Somebody had recommended it to me, and I watched the last 10 minutes. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna watch it because he said in the last bit of the stream something to the likes of, yeah, I'm gonna probably delete this stream and rebroadcast. No, you're not, because I am going to archive it. That's what happens, right? Get on live like I am, and it stays on the internet. You don't get to choose when you delete something. I mean, you could, but it's already documented, right? All right. So let's put on the stream. So nothing special. Just going to be watching, reacting. Let's see how it goes. Present. Share. Hopefully this clears up.
And welcome to the Next Level. This is my weekly podcast show where we bring you next level things, guests, community
Weekly
members.
podcast.
But today
I haven't
I'm
watched this
going
show in a
solo.
long time.
Today I want to share
I've been like
just a little bit about my home
2
arcade
months.
journey because I feel like I'm finally in a place where I'm nearing the end of putting together my ideal dream home arcade, like what you've seen behind me over the last couple of weeks. If you've seen my setup, I'm in love with the cabinets I currently have and I currently own. I have a
He is a
couple of
go-to
spaces
though.
that I can still fill here and there, but I'm pretty happy with my current collection. It's taken me,
I mean, I'm new
almost
to the
four and
space,
a half
but
years to
popular with
get
the
to
whole
this
Star
point, just a
Wars
little over 4 years. But I wanted to share my journey
bit.
of getting to this space and my
I've only been
mindset from,
around for under a
starting
year.
off as a community member to eventually making a mod and starting a YouTube channel. I never expected to have an audience that would be listening to this story. But with all the things that have been happening in the home arcade community, this is probably like my one time I kind of want to give my thoughts on what's been happening over the home arcade community. Because most times I don't talk about this. Oftentimes, I don't address things that are happening in the community. If you want to use the term drama, I'm not going to say it out there, but I have somehow
Just did.
been in the midst, on the ancillary edge of many people that have been involved in some sort of feud or drama. I have relationships with people. It's a small space, so it's hard to not have relationships with people and then feel emotions when things are happening to folks. I think the biggest person that people might be missing out on and thinking about right now is my good buddy Console Kits, who no longer has his YouTube channel, which I'll talk to about maybe a little bit later on. We'll see how I feel about this particular stream. Um, so that's where I wanted to spend some time talking about today, is about my personal journey, my YouTube journey, and I hope by the end of sharing at least my personal story that this will
Seems to be
resonate with
emulating
some
what Console
people
Kids did.
about the mindset of content creators that want to make content about this hobby. I hope it gives some insight into some of the, I think, motivations for why many of us here, even in the chat, like Biggie D's here and Brooklyn and anybody that's made content, like why we do these things. It's all because we've always wanted to do this, which is build a home arcade. And I don't want to ever lose sight of that. I don't want ever people to think that there's some crazy big ulterior motive for doing all this stuff. It's really, the dream that I have back here behind me that started 4 or 5 years ago. So I want to get to that as my story and even share some humble beginnings that I can, if you would just indulge me and let me just ramble for a little bit. And thank you so much for the folks that are watching this live. And if you're watching this on replay, let me know what your thoughts are as well as you're watching this, if I'm off my rocker for sharing these stories. And then lastly, at the very end, once I get past my mini rant as I go through memory lane, is I do want to talk about the Arcade1Up Marvel versus Capcom 2 release cabinet that just came out that is skinned as the X-Men 97 cabinet, which, by the way, they just dropped the trailer on Disney Plus. So watch it. There's over 3 million views. There's a lot of people that are watching.
What a coincidence. Disney Plus.
X-Men 97. I'm hoping Arcade1Up was gonna do something with it. I have some thoughts on the X-Men 97 MBC2 cabinet, but they're absolutely capitalizing on that marketing push. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on as well, because I did a lot of coverage on Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I agree that it's weird to have drama in the home arcade community. I totally agree. And Gio's here. He says he should share his personal journey if it inspires you to speak up enough. I would love to have you share your personal. So if you have stories that you want to share, put it in the chat, put it in the comments. Gio, Sean, I'll just give you a quick shout out, by the way. One of my next mods in the community, DDR panel from Giovanni.
I think it's weird to have someone talk about your wife and you don't stand up for it.
We're going to get that set up. It's going to be freaking awesome. Don't worry about that. So Gio, what's going on? Mike, what's up, man? It's cool and everything, but where can I get the shirt? This is a Tokidoki Marvel collaboration shirt. So in the spirit of the X-Men 97 crew coming out, I thought I would rock that. But yeah, so here we are today, saying hello to the folks in the chat again. Sorry if I missed you, and I really didn't even say hello to the chat, but I'll just do it real quick. We'll do a quick little chat. We'll say hello to Andy. Easy Markets here. Online streaming life looks like a hard life. It is a little bit of pressure to be doing a lot of streams. So I've enjoyed it though, and I think many of us do. Thumper Squid's here. Easy Market was saying console kids will be happier now. Real talk. I agree. I think he's going to be way happy after this. Biggie D's here. What's up? Jim the Pacer Man, can't wait to hear about your journey. Thank you about that. It says, me and the fan, you are not guaranteed anything later in life. Have your arcades now where you can go. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. Frickin' Menace is here. Jason's here. I'm just going backwards. Carl, I think we said hello. And Matter says,
no, you did not say hello.
Lost the shine because many people are gouging and jacking prices up. I think, yeah, if I look back on my journey from 5 years ago, they definitely weren't at the prices that they're at now, but we had a lot less options than we do now. So let's go. All right, Mark Gutierrez is here. Chris C. Let's see if I missed anybody else from the beginning. Jeff Walsh was here earlier. Gotham City Arcade, thank you so much for hanging out. And I think that's everybody. Stock Jock was here earlier as well. Ricardo and my guy Cat. Yes, this guy G Combos 99 put me in this Gambit Infinite. Small inside joke, but we were playing Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and he kicked me ass. So kudos to you. All right, we're back caught up to chat. JG is here saying what's up. Super Dimensional, what's going on? Viva la Macross, I love that. Macross, such a good cabinet. Another MBCT dropping for a $4.99 price point. You don't have room for it, but it looks decent. If you like the artwork, again, it's just another option for you guys. All right, C Marvel's here in the chat. Let's go. All right, got to do my obligatory let's go, Carnicade. Okay, so let's start from humble beginnings. This is the story of B Kong in 2019, 2020. This was pre-pandemic. Thanksgiving of 2019 is when I bought my very first home arcade product. I got sucked into the home arcade community because Amazon had a lightning deal for Street Fighter II Gen 1 cabinet for $175. At that entry point, I had nostalgia for arcades, but I didn't know much about arcade like hardware, gaming, emulation. I had like barely zero knowledge of anything arcade related at the beginning of 2020, end of 2019. So this was like a little over 4 years ago is when I started my journey. So when people look at me and they say, B, you're so smart, you have all this knowledge on everything emulation wise and doing all these mods and things. No, I was a hardcore noob when I first got into this community. I had a lot of nostalgia for playing fighting games growing up in other arcades. My big arcade nostalgia came from my parents owning a video store. We owned a mom and pop video store all the way in North Long Beach called SK Video No. 2. And it was right across the street from this middle school. And we would have an arcade operator drop off new arcades every single couple of months. And I got to live through the booms of the original Mortal Kombat, the SNK cabinets, Street Fighter 2s, Primal Rages.
I had his own personal arcade.
So many games because I worked at that video store growing up, and I got to work there, and my pay was playing quarters to be able to play the arcade games. We would mark the quarters with a black marker so that the operator would know it would belong to the store. So that's where my arcade nostalgia came from. But beyond that, once I got my first home arcade product, like I didn't know anything about it. In fact, here's how new and like dumb I was when I first got into the arcade hobby. One of my good friends, Ricky, he's joined me on a stream, a couple of times. Sometimes he joins in the chat. Ricky M. Exo's here. It's time for intervention. Shut up, Exo. I collect more toys than I do arcades. But Ricky, one of my good buddies, I want to say this was like maybe 10 years ago. Ricky is a collector of sorts, and he's also an arcade fan. And one day he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna set up a mini arcade in my garage." And he set up a MAME version of Street Fighter 2, hooked up 2 control deck panels in his garage, and had a bunch of his friends over talking about toys and Robotech and Transformers and Macross. And we were kicking the shit out of each other in Street Fighter 2 in his garage on a projector screen. And like that's seared in my brain. Like, holy shit, I remember playing this so much in the 90s. I want to really relive this again at home someday, like maybe with my kids or eventually have my own home arcade. And so that moment when Ricky had friends over and I was there and I got to play against Peter, Sniper, his ass is really good at Street Fighter. And I hope he comes over to my arcade sometime so I can beat him in poker and I can beat him in Street Fighter 2. But he kicked my ass and I was like, man, I really wish I could do that at home. That really was the start of me wanting to have and own a home arcade back back in the day. We all had that dream, right? I can't have a full-size arcade, but I can at least want to have it. And I could have done emulation. I could have done this and that. In fact, eventually when I got my consoles and I had my PS3, I bought fight sticks. I have Mad Catz tournament fight sticks that I got to play Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and Marvel vs. Capcom 3. So I was like, I loved those arcade games and I bought my own fight stick, but I never thought about having a upsize right cabinet. So I'm going back way deep, because I just want to explain how unfamiliar I was with anything to do with real arcade hardware when I first got into the scene. So, bought Street Fighter 2. I had my friend Ricky actually at my house and showed him that cabinet when we first got it and was like, Ricky, help me build this. He actually was the first person that helped me open up the Arcade 1-Up cabinet. I had no idea what I was doing. And we spent 45 minutes to an hour putting it together and building it. And right off the bat,
only
one of
45
my
minutes.
joysticks didn't work. And I was like, oh, I didn't know any better. I didn't know the quality of the joysticks that were supposed to come with it. I didn't know what the hell Sanwa or Hap or any of the joystick controllers were. Like, I had zero knowledge. I was like, oh, one of these joysticks is kind of stuck. It doesn't really work. Ricky, who was more familiar with things, was then telling me a little bit more about like, oh, like, the Mad Catz fight sticks that you got, those tournament sticks, those have Sanwa buttons in it and they feel really good. Like, those are the ones that you should upgrade to. And I was like, oh, they use real Sanwa parts. And I got to understand what Sanwa parts were, which were, Japanese style arcade parts. And I was so like new at the time. I was like, all right, I think I'm going to mod my Street Fighter 2 and actually have better buttons because I wanted to be able to play the game and use better buttons. I wanted both sides to work because they weren't working. And I told Ricky, I was like, I'll just gut my Street Fighter, my Marvel vs. Capcom Mad Catz tournament fight stick, this $200 fight stick. I was like, I'm just going to gut that and take the buttons from this and put this into my Arcade 1-Up cabinet. And the first thing he says to me was like, are you stupid? Are you going to like gut your fight stick? No, you don't have to do that. You can buy replacement buttons from online and you can just replace them. I was like, oh, I didn't know that you can buy buttons and joysticks separately. I had no idea. And I started to Google, right? And then I saw all the different brands that you can buy and I started to look at things. And so that was just like I had no idea. And we all start somewhere. We are all fresh babies in this hobby somewhere. We are all freshly minted. As soon as we catch that bug and catch wanting to create a home arcade, we have to start somewhere. And so I never want to fault anybody for whenever they've entered the hobby. And if they ask a question, I may get tired of hearing the same questions, but I try to think back to the time when somebody was brand new and I was asking questions. If somebody would take the time to do that. And I remember being like a small little scrub and being scared to ask questions and wanting to be part of a community. So that was the beginning of my journey, was wanting to just mod Street Fighter 2 buttons. And then we all saw the amazing ETA Prime video on how to mod your Street Fighter 2 with a Raspberry Pi and play thousands and thousands of games. That set me off on a journey. Joined an arcade group called the Arcade One Up and Modding Group. This was my very first group and community that I actually got to know, and this is the group that I fell in love with and was my community growing up. You know, and when I entered the workforce,
one of
and I found the
those.
hobby, and I found like other community people, that community helps drive your outside hobby world. When I was really into Macross, my buddy Exo here and some other folks, I became really into the Macross community, which used forums at the time, macrossworld.com, Super Dimension, if anybody remembers. That was my community. I would be on the forums all day, every day when I wanted to talk and learn about something Macross. As I got into the arcade hobby, this Facebook group was the one that got me really into it. So this was my very, very first post about 2-3 months after having that Arcade One Up and building it, and was like, Arcade One Up and modding was like, all right, Japan's versus US style arcade fighting, who's gonna win? And I have Samwall set of joysticks on the left, and then I have I think the IL hat buttons on the right, but they're both Samwall sticks, and it's just a bat top versus a ball top. But in my head, I was like, oh, this is a clever kind of fit way to have the best of both worlds, that I could have Sandwall on one side and Hap on the other side. And
it's gonna be an interesting
like, oh, it's
segue
kind of a cool way. If I wanted to play on both sides, I can try both sides.
What
I
claims
had
is
a
going to be
couple
him
of
addressing
reviews that
something.
had likes, and people were saying like SF4 is better, round gate, 4-pound spring. I was like, what is all that stuff? And I'm all like, 4 springs really worth it? Is this the best place to go
Guess
and
I'm
get
just
all
a
this
different
stuff?
type of storyteller.
Like, I had no idea. Like,
when I
I
want
was
to get to the
asking
point,
questions.
like I
Springs are
involve
okay. The real loser here
the
is my
actual
OCD, and this
topic.
person was like, oh, the buttons aren't matching, the joysticks aren't matching. And some people are like, left. I like this a lot. So I think this is just funny way to ask community a question and see what the response was. This was our community. Arcade One Up and modding scene was like my go-to to get my daily fix of nostalgia.
When he started the stream,
and then my next post was like, all right, 2020, the beginning of 2020,
I'm gonna
that was tough. This
address drama without saying drama, but he already said
4 years
the word
ago,
drama.
I remember the day
and
that
then
Kobe
he's
Bryant
giving this big
passed
backstory.
away.
Honestly,
And it was tough for me
with respect to
being in
Become,
LA,
it sounds like a complete
fan. I remember
1000%
playing
emulation
in a
of what
league basketball
Justin
game,
did.
and in the middle of halftime,
Respect to Justin. Justin,
saying,
you know,
oh shit, Kobe died, and I was like, no,
has his own way of telling stuff, and I guess Kong does too, but it seems more like a copycat.
I was so sad and depressed that day. And then, like, the next day at work, I was just sitting at a local park, like, I needed to get out of my headspace. But it's his story. He has it right. This is his channel. I'm just streaming and watching.
I
want to just get my mind off of it, and I'm gonna go shopping for some arcades.
There's a big but at the end of this.
That day,
he claims
of
at the
just wanting
beginning
to get my
of the
head
stream, he's
out
going
of
to
that
segue
space.
into
I went and found
the drama.
An Arcade One Up Pac-Man for sale.
I'm just watching it all for context.
Target. This was
because I only watched the last
my
60 seconds
I bought my first
because it was referred to me slow year. I'm gonna watch this shit. And then at the end when I watched it, he said he was gonna delete the stream
and a Star Wars cabinet because they were on sale. They were like $400 each, and I was like,
Archive.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna sell some of my Macross toys, and I bought a Star Wars and a TMNT cabinet. And then my 4th cabinet was like, all right, I really want a Pac-Man, a retro one, and I got it.
Right now he's doing a nostalgia dive,
like,
saying this is where he started. This is his first
I bought this
post about 3 to 4 years ago. When he just started about his arcade journey for the first time ever.
To do something fun.
That's pretty cool though. He does great mods.
A riser, because I just had this generic riser, and I was like, I'm gonna spray paint this shit. I'm gonna cut out this ghost thing. And this is one of my first that I did, in addition to modding my TMNT and my Street Fighter cabinet. So back in my modding journey head, I was like, all I needed was 4 cabinets. I needed my Street Fighter 2 that was modded with a Raspberry Pi. I had my 4-player TMNT mod that I did with the Raspberry Pi as well, that I actually really screwed up because I didn't realize at the time the Gen 1 Street Fighter 2 monitor was different than the Gen 3 monitors. So I was using the wrong VS display adapters and was missing bezels all the time on my my TMNT mod. I didn't understand that.
Open format. If I know you, come on with no video. If I don't know you,
to edit the files of RetroArch for every single emulator and thing until I realized I just needed a different aspect ratio. Like, I was so new and clueless to modding. I didn't know, right? You don't know what you don't know. And so that was my Pac-Man. And that was kind of my first day. I was like, if I have my Pac-Man, I have my Star Wars, I have Turtles, and I have Street Fighter. And I took over this side of one of our rooms that we had a spare bedroom in. And, thankfully, my wife at the time was like, we weren't using that space for much. And that was it. I was like, this is it.
What's up, brother?
I
I
got my
appreciate you.
4 arcades. I am done. That's all I need. But we all know at some point we get addicted to the more. Like, what
he's
is
right
the
about
next
that.
one? What are we getting? And this was at the time, right?
Get addicted.
2020, like we can get a little bit more innovative and exciting. And so as
There's always room
the
for
months
one
went
more.
on in my early modding journey, I have no idea how long this story is going to take. But I was so clueless. I bought
That's what's up.
IL hapsticks. I didn't even know how to take off the C-clip.
You literally
I had to ask somebody in the chat to say, how do I take off a C-clip? And here there was like, oh, use a tiny
Don't
flat
make me
edge
cause you an
screwdriver and you can
accident.
pull off the C-clip. Like, I didn't know. Like, this was just me even putting together all this stuff. And this was my original, like, hey, I finally worked on all the stuff. I was super proud of this. I talked about all the mods that I did for my Star Wars Street Fighter 2.
Hey, it's
This was
detailed.
my original home arcade collection. My 4 cabinets. I was super happy with Pac-Man, my Star Wars, my modded Street Fighter 2, and my modded TMNT. I was like, I was modding in my room. This was like a little bit of a mess, but I was like, I was so happy once this is all set up. And like, I didn't know different power supplies and things. I thought the Pac-Man
Is
was
it me or
cute.
nobody takes the
I was super
plastic
happy
off
with
of
this
the
Raspberry Pi mod that I
deck
did
cover?
there. I did this
It's like
crazy
they don't
speaker
know.
mod. I messed up that Street Fighter 2, but I was like, I'm gonna do everything I can to make this like super
Is
pimped
that
out
like
and
a
have my
thing?
multi-cade. And then I had a Raspberry Pi mod in this one too. This was the 32 gigabyte Hershey Wolfenose image that I was using in both cabinets, and then this was the filter to the 4-player mod. And then I had my Turtles. This was it. That was it. I was done. I was like, I'm good. I don't need to do anymore. I am
Exactly.
done with my arcade collection within 2 months. But the next thing happened, and
That ain't no
I
lie,
was
Talks.
asking for spare
I
parts and
didn't
things.
when I first
And
got
then from there,
one of my
I
first
was like,
tilt caps.
even
I think it was
taking my
the
arcade
Terminator
to
one.
my brother's
I was like,
house.
is
Be like,
this
hey,
a
I
real
really
thing to
want to
take
just
off?
go play
And I had to
at the
like
party. And this
get
was
a knife or
February
whatever. Like it
before
was
COVID happened.
impossible.
This was
I had to
February
Google it actually to
before
make
March
sure
COVID,
that
with everything shut
this thing
down.
came
And
off.
like, I remember
But
this
I
party
thought,
that we
people
had
like
because
him
it
would
was the
know.
last party that we hosted before the pandemic shut down.
Maybe just
And
people are just like, fuck it, I ain't
then
trying.
things started to kick up a little bit, right? I was doing some more modding here and there. I was talking about modding
Yeah, it's both sides.
these Mad Cats tournament fight sticks.
They need to do it
I
like
turned
they
this
do
into a
these
fight stick. I remember wanting to build a Tron cabinet, so I bought a it looks like a Space Invaders cabinet for $150, and then I got artwork from Tyler when he was doing his arcade graphics sales, and he would just be like posting randomly, like, "Hey, like I have these sales for leftover art that has messed up parts. Like, do you want this?" So I got that to do a Tron mod. And then eventually,
Glenn's Kickstarter back in 2020.
Here was the minute I realized something could be different about me and my channel and what I wanted to do. I really had the vision at the time in December when I got my Star Wars cabinet,
right?
That I wanted to play Star Wars Trilogy. And Glenn's Kickstarter for his GRS yoke at the time was happening.
Okay.
And I was like, that's what I need. I need his controller to be able to play Star Wars Trilogy. And this was I guess I got a right replacement. I don't even remember my right trigger not working for Star Wars yokes, but I guess I got a replacement yoke from Arcade One Up, and I was like, I'm gonna see if I can play Star Wars Trilogy, and I did. I learned how to set up Sega Model 3. I hooked it up to like just to try it out, and I was like, this is the start of something special. And it's like, how else can I eventually start modding this?
It's all good, brother.
This was it. I found this guy. God, I can't even remember his name. I think it was Repair Celt. And he was the first person
Bobby, still there,
that showed me how it was possible to mod a controller, an analog controller into this encoder.
When people came in with no intentions,
hey, I don't want to do
like,
this mod.
These are toys.
Where
Toys are
plug
fun.
in some extra buttons to the yoke, and I got it working. And this was like the first time I was like, I'm gonna do it, guys.
I'm
like,
sure.
I didn't have a YouTube channel.
Sadly, I missed that because people.
So I did it. I finally modded my Star Wars cabinet to be able to plug into a USB cabinet. And this was the final mod that I did in March 2020. I did it. I was like, hey, I did a Star Wars arcade mod. This was my very first baby. I turned a stand-up stand-up Star Wars into a sit-down. I really wanted a sit-down version of the arcade for some
I wasted
reason.
my glory days on the
So
iHeart
I took this,
arcade.
put a little bench down there, put a little extra marquee that I got from Angel Otero Jr. down there for Star Wars Trilogy at the bottom, and added some pedals. I had a PC on the outside sticking there. I
Oh
was like,
shit!
I can have
Damn,
pedals.
Carl.
And like these were rudder pedals for flying, and they were terrible for driving games. But I was like, hey, I can do flying and rudder games. I didn't know the difference between pedals. And the placement of this sucked. This was terrible for my feet. It didn't feel comfortable. I didn't know, but I was like, hey, I could have some pedals and I could have a steering wheel, and I wanted to sit down. That was the goal. And then I had a flight stick that I put on the left-hand side. That flight stick on top of the PC was how I played Star Wars Battle Pod, where I used the flight stick on the left as my throttle, and then the yoke is the main game. That's what I wanted to do. I was like, I'm gonna play Battle Pod. I'm gonna do this mod. I made this all like spiffy in the back end, and I cleaned everything up, wired everything down. This was it. I was like, I'm at my modding peak. Yes, I did it. And then
Looks
somebody in the chat, somebody in the comments along the way, I don't know if it's here or not. I'm gonna double check. I think I don't know if it was Robert, David. It was I want to say it was yeah. So Brian was one of these people who says, "Can you make a video? Looks sick." He's like, "Can you get gameplay or tutorial?" And I was like, "Tutorial, please." And so there were some people that were. Oh, Sterling was one of the guys. Was like, "You need to make a tutorial. You need to make a tutorial on how to do this."
Yes,
And I was like,
I'm
"I
about to address
don't know how
that
to do
too,
any of this
C-Line.
stuff." And then I made my first
Kanye ain't gonna
YouTube
get
video
away with
ever.
saying that.
Was essentially how to
'Cause,
mod your Star
Yeah,
Wars
I'm gonna
Arcade
go in on
Academy.
that.
That was
I
how
got
to
something to say
mod
by the end of
Star
all this.
Wars APAC. This video here
Absolutely,
was my
absolutely.
very first ever video on
Hey,
YouTube.
something's got
And
to be
this came
said.
out
I remember
3+
asking B
years
if
ago,
he ever heard of
on
19K
April
Fox, and he
3rd,
hadn't at that time.
2020. From the time I
Interesting how that
posted
circle got together,
that
right?
video,
One
March
thing Travis MC
20th,
was right about
took
was the
10
fall of
days
3/4
to
community.
film,
Yeah,
edit,
I
and
agree.
create a
Don't
36-minute
know what
tutorial
to
on
even
how
do
to
with the
wire up your
NC2 cab.
arcade
I
one up.
soft modded
And
it with
again,
other
I
cabs
share this because at the
games,
time,
but
I didn't know shit about arcades when I
turn
first
this up.
started. In 3 months, I went from like a noob
I
to trying to
got
explain
modded
how to wire some freaking arcade
it
one
with
ups
the other
into a
cab games,
wire. And
but it's
people trusted
at my
that
office in
I
Orlando, and I'm giving up the space
confident
in
enough to be
June.
able to
I
explain
don't
this to
drive to the
people. Like,
office
I
at
went
all.
from complete noob to wiring up all this shit because I was just curious and I love to Google everything. And
Damn.
so I just wanted to share that like short story because
Look
you
for
can
like a
learn so much about anything if you
like
have
a
the
urban
desire and the passion
youth
and the will
community group or
and the
something,
Google
maybe.
know-how to just
You
do
know,
some research and try it
so like
out
when
and
the
not
kids
be
come
afraid to
and
break shit. And
have to
so,
chill out off the
you know,
streets,
from
so,
this point on, you know, the rest
they
of my
can play on
channel
something.
really
If you want to
focused on
be altruistic
tutorials.
about
I
it, that's
never even
probably a good
had
thing
my
to do.
face on screen for the first, I think, 10 months of my YouTube career. My first live
YCMA type
video
group.
ever. The
I
good
think they
old
could
days, right?
appreciate it.
Yeah, the good old days. My first live video ever was opening up a GRS yoke.
Yeah, it's
And
interesting.
then I think it was
He said he
it was
only
one of
started
these right here.
about
And I
4
think
years
how to
ago,
install
but
2 buttons.
it's
I don't even think
interesting
it's on
jump
here.
that he was like, I'm a rookie
First
at this,
look
but he's
into
making picture
this.
perfect.
This was my
cuts.
first ever live stream. Oh my god! This,
I'm
I
like,
wonder if this is like
how do you-
super cringe because I was using OBS.
Dude came
This
out
is
of
my
his mama's
first
womb
ever
soldering.
live stream
Like,
where I show
what do
my
you mean
face
you're a rookie at
on
this? Because
YouTube.
I
And I
don't
don't
see the
even
rookie
know if I'm
mistakes.
live yet.
Rookie
That's why
crap is
I'm
like
in the background
him
like,
hod
am I live? Am
podging,
I doing
you know, with
anything?
glue
And
and crap. This guy's
it was
making
fun.
like
I was like,
cuts.
all
And
right,
he's the best rookie modder
GRS
I've ever
yoke
seen in my life.
live and see if it can be modded because I wanted to see. That was my first
Has a
video.
degree in engineering and ain't telling
And
nobody. I don't know.
the live stream absolutely changed my channel
Gets no
because
play. I was
editing to that
going
point,
to let
I
the
think I
whole
had at this
incubator.
point in time maybe like
But they
500
would break it.
subscribers.
They would.
Maybe. And it was a slow roll. I was very proud every time I hit a milestone, and it was fun. To be able
This
to
is all the
continue,
way it is.
you
He's a
know,
fast
getting more
learner,
into the
man.
scene on the
Good
modding
for him.
scene, and sharing all the cool stuff I was doing with Kwok Lee and Bobby Vu. I hadn't really even introduced
Yeah,
yet.
Bobby's
I
a very
think
good teacher.
God, for folks that were in the group, do you remember what the old Facebook group was before Arcade Wizards? Because right now we have this group called Arcade Wizards with Kwok Lee, me, Bobby Vu. We were kind of the guys that led that one. I forget what it was called. It was I can't remember, but it was this arcade group, and that was the one that really got me excited and learning how to mod and emulate my stuff more. I forget what the group is called, lots of shit went down in that group, and we closed it down, and we went to Wizards. There was, before YouTube drama, there was Facebook community drama. There was drama between the different Facebook groups and people being a part of this group or that group, or the
what
modding
world
group,
is
or
he
the
living
global
in that
group,
there's no
or the
drama
Home
between
Arcade
the
and modding
Facebook community
arcade. Like
groups?
any community has this drama. It's super funny, and I remember being a mod in those communities.
It's nothing funny about racism.
Anyways, long story short, there's drama in any community. So we went to Die For is in the chat. What's up, man? So after
I would
this,
love to live in
the
a
next
world
big
where you just
milestone for
don't
my
have to give a
YouTube journey
fuck
here, 'cause
about
at this
anything
point,
around you.
you can see,
I would
where is
love to
this?
live in
I don't even
this
know if it says November
world.
7th,
It's got
2020
to be
was my
nice.
very first live
It's
stream
gotta be
ever, right?
so
Almost
nice
a year since I got my first arcade
to
cabinet.
not
and
give a
about
fuck
5-6 months at this
because
point, I've made
it ain't
maybe
about
less
you.
than 5 to 10 videos on YouTube about tutorials on how
All
to
right,
do certain
let's see.
things on your
That's
cabinet.
the key. Modding videos and tutorials will
Um,
get you lots of views and
next
subs, but
biggest
probably not a
thing that
lot.
happened
You're
to me in
right.
terms of my home arcade journey after this was my Outrun Arcade 1UP live unboxing. So this unboxing and first look was an hour and 40 minutes in November too, on November 21st. So
Oh, that's cool,
literally
man.
a couple of days afterwards, this is my first
I definitely wanted
foray
to commission
doing
him,
something
but
for the
I was
community.
too late in the game.
One of the first persons to get Arcade 1UP's Outrun sit-down
But
cabinet.
yeah,
This was
I
an
think it's
exciting
easy to
time
say
for
he
the
has the
community, right?
best
We didn't ever have a sit-down cabinet yet. We were trying to figure out if this was a
modding
good thing or
for the
not.
Star Wars
And
cabinet.
I just so happened, without
He's
any
pretty much
affiliation with
synonymous
Arcade
with
1UP,
it.
I didn't know anybody
Mad
at the company at
props.
the time, right? I just lived in the Los Angeles area, and their initial distribution for this cabinet was based out of the town that was next to me. So I think I just happened to be physically close
Yes.
to ordering this and being one of the first to get it. No affiliation whatsoever, but this was the original Outrun cabinet that I got. So this was like the first time I had 300 people in the
Look
chat
at the people
room.
in there. You
I
got
had my
Lewis
wife helping me out
Chambers,
as a
King
camera person.
Creo,
I had my
Kev
modded
Red.
Street Fighter 2 in the background. I had no idea what I was doing. And
Same
it can be
names.
stressful doing a live
Yeah,
unboxing,
P
thing, especially
Dubs.
for the first time. And so I look back at this, and I remember trying to explain things along the way and make it fun.
Everyone's
But
screaming at
this
him, no
got me
sound.
really addicted to doing more of this content for the community. I felt like this was a fun way to
Someone told me
share
to start
that
over.
unboxing experience. And so I started to get addicted to live streaming content because it was an easier way to create content.
Damn,
Anybody
Shotgun
who makes
Sean in
content
the
for a
house.
living and edits knows that it takes so long to create
think
content.
I know
You can share a
Ralph.
story for an hour or
Oh, no,
whatnot
different
and do
Ralph.
something that community is interested in.
This is Ralph
It
C,
just
not Ralph
is a much
H.
easier way to be able to create content for people to watch. So this was my first next
So
big
like,
thing. In fact, I just shared a
so
story
like
about
searching mod
John
Killer
D was in
Instinct
the chat.
Arcade 1UP
I had
cap
no
on Google brings you
idea who the hell
to
John D was. I think people were just saying that he worked for Arcade 1UP, and when he was in the chat a little bit
KAG.
later in the stream, I
Who's
forget what he
KAG?
was actually saying. Did I actually make
I
a
don't know.
timestamp of it?
And
Starting with
19
the building
K-Box
of the
videos.
cab.
Right.
I actually took timestamps of everything, looking at the Outrun bench, look at the lit marquee, unboxing
That's why I
the steering
purposely
wheel.
put B and
I
not
think
spell out
he
his
was in
name.
the
I don't
chat
want his
somewhere,
searches
and there was
being
a story
messed
about.
with.
He said there was an Easter
If
egg.
people
So there was
YouTube
an Easter egg on the actual cabinet, and people were saying to peel the sticker on the actual cabinet on the wheel, but that wasn't it. There was a sticker on the dashboard that was actually the main Easter egg there. But anyways, John Dees was in the chat and he was trolling. I had no idea who it was. I had zero relations with Arcade 1UP. I put this cabinet out there.
It is, but
and
non-Sega products aren't
channel,
allied to.
I got
Where?
over 1,000
How?
subs
Where is John
finally.
D trolling?
That
in
was a big
sentence?
milestone for anybody that's in the YouTube space to be able to monetize. And even at the time, I just hit 1,000 subs. I'm sorry for just going off on a rant here, but
It's your
when I hit
stream,
1,000
Kong. Don't
subs
be
on
sorry for
YouTube,
shit.
I didn't even think about. I didn't want to monetize. At first, I was like, I don't think I want to be, really focused on monetizing YouTube and making money off of
Okay.
it. No, I still
Never seen
felt
him.
like I was a community member at heart. My humble beginnings started off in those Facebook groups and sharing cool mods and shit and making tutorials. And at my heart, I always still felt like a regular community member that just happened to stumble on some cool shit. And I was just able to share my story and my passion.
Is he
Every time I made a
acknowledging he's
video,
no longer a
tutorial,
regular
and so
community
I
member
tried
of
to
Humble
keep
Beginnings?
that
That he's
original
bigger in the
intent
space
over the
than
years, and I feel like I
what he's
have.
playing
I'm
himself out to be?
enthusiastic about the
and
things that I
that
talk about.
actions in the community.
And I was happy, and I looked
He
up
may need to
to
sound off on.
many other home arcade content creators at the time. At the time, there wasn't a ton of people out there. You had your Retro
projecting.
Ralph, you had Cool Toy, you had Glenn's Retro Show, the Tech Buzz.
So let's talk
you
about
had,
that.
you
What
know,
happened to all
P-Dubs,
those
which I
guys? Weren't
barely
they all
followed at the
friends?
time. In fact, there was somebody in the community in Facebook that told me to stay with P-Dubs at all costs for some reason. I never knew P-Dubs before that. But I looked up to these content creators and I was like, oh,
I
but
know
you
Kong
know,
came to my stream and said he had
first
nothing to
in my
do
head, I
with
was
the
like, I didn't
man.
want to monetize,
or
and like
the
I think
trust
I
was
just want to be a
gone or
regular
something like
community
that.
member. I could care less about the money side of things. And then somebody somewhere eventually told me is that in order for YouTube to push your videos more for people to see, you have to monetize. You have to be able to make
He's right.
for YouTube for them to share your video. If you're not making money for YouTube, they're not going to push your video out there.
This is true.
So for me, it's like I have to monetize in order to continue growing. There's very little incentive.
Drama in the community is corny, though. It's like why and what for, especially for, right. See, if he had said it like that,
finally made sense for me to
I
click that button
can
on. I
jump on that thing.
for the first
But the
time
way
afterwards.
he was saying it at the beginning was very dismissive.
That kind of started me on
and
collecting, you know, income through my.
It was like a dig, kind of like.
Social media gets.
If you were on live, I don't think you would say it like that.
Natural growth happened.
You know what I mean?
There was a cab that came in.
But because nobody can retort, you're going to say it that way.
Building a home arcade at that point. And
it's almost like a gaslight. Like,
regular content
you know what the hell was going on? Don't act silly.
Jealousy,
hatred, and canopy.
And that's another kind of big year for Arcade 1UP growth and cabinets and things. It
seems to be the case.
You know, the pandemic happened. I think that was the year that virtual pinball was first introduced into the world, into the scene. We were starting to get, you know, rehashes of older cabinets into newer form factors like the legacy style. So 2021, again, after the first year of 2020,
that Star Wars thing going on in the back is sick.
I didn't get any of the At-Home's home arcade products because I wasn't into the multi-cade thing yet. I built my own multi-cade with the Street Fighter 2. I didn't need an At-Games Legends product at that time. And so while that was still a competitor at the time, I was still solely focused on building my home arcade nostalgia through the Arcade 1UP cabinets. You know, once they announced, I got, how many versions of Mortal Kombat did I buy? I bought an original Mortal Kombat 2, and then eventually I replaced it with a legacy Mortal Kombat 2, and then I got the MK30th Mortal Kombat. So I bought 3 Mortal Kombats, and then Street Fighter 2 Big Blue came out that year. I think my next big step in January 2021, after Outrun came up, I love going back to talk about this. My next thing that came out in January was Big Buck, Winter, Kongs R Us. Yeah. Y'all remember this? This is fun. So I think it was Mrs. Kongs R Us debut on YouTube. I think this was January 2021. I'm trying to just remember right now. January 2021, like two months after my first live unboxing.
I mean, I don't mind it, but Jesus.
This is a fun video. If you haven't watched this video, if you're new to the channel, check it out. It's pretty funny. I thought it was.
I agree.
It's enabling. Like innuendos. At the time, I think I had maybe 1,200 subscribers when I did this. And I remember people were saying like, this video is gonna vault you to like 1 million subscribers or whatnot. You know, cute Asian girl talking about cocking a gun and all this other stuff. And it was fucking awesome. If you've never seen the Buck Hunter video, go give it a like. You guys will enjoy this. I'm just gonna actually I'll copy this and put it into the chat.
I'm watching the Buck Hunter video for the arcade machine and not Mrs. Kong right now.
So that was January of 2021, right? So the channel continued to grow.
How you doing, man?
Good, very good.
The whole premise is I got referred the video. I watched the last 10 minutes. It got a little spicy. Not 10 minutes, excuse me. I misquoted myself.
I was learning how to make
YouTube last minute
better by emulating people
like you know what? And in that last like 60 seconds or something like that, he mentioned something about he was going to remove the stream. I don't know if it's just because he said something about audio, so I'm gonna be clear on that. But I don't know anything prior to it. So I'm like, this is
architect who
slow.
designed
We
my logo. But the Buck Hunter was
homegirl ain't
another
streaming.
pivotal moment for me because
I'm
that
gonna
was
just do a watch
introducing
party
Mrs.
and
Kong's
put my
Arrested
own
Development.
take because
And then I think
so
at
at the
that time
beginning
I
he's talking
started
about
the next level.
he's supposed to segue into whole something else.
Yeah.
He started off
It was
the
my
first
very
like
first
3 minutes talking about
show. It
the
was
drama that doesn't phase him crap, and
Dags.
then he's gonna get into all
Pocket.
that.
I think
But after he tells his
I probably
life
should already
story,
have this queued up right here.
well,
Next
basically what
level,
Console Kits had done prior,
Kong's
which is
RS.
his right. I got nothing against the man. I think he's a good dude, great family, all that good stuff. But no one's free from critique.
Is this it?
Because there was something said
that the series premiere.
Sea Lion had mentioned that got under my skin, which is pretty much sounds like he's dismissing at the beginning of the drama piece. But hey, maybe he'll make up for it on the stream. I don't know. I haven't watched it yet. So I got my popcorn.
3 years ago,
I got
on
my tea.
January 21st, I guess.
And I'm watching.
I guess January 21st was a popular day because I did my first episode and did my Buck Hunter mod that day too. On January 21st, 2021, little over 3 years ago, I did my first ever live stream. It was going to be on Thursdays at 5 o'clock, and the whole key concept is that I would bring on guests and community members and talk about modding projects. Oh yeah, I did that cool Macross mod in between. But my very first guest was this guy named Alan Dejanay. Dags,
but it's cool though. I mean, I don't know nothing about him, and sharing your story, that's awesome.
He made a talk tip, and I helped him mod it.
At least he has a story to tell. I ain't been in long enough to be telling some story like this.
That was fun. That was really cool to be able to say, hey, start this weekly podcast. So much things I want to talk about and share from a modding perspective to highlight the modding.
That's cool as fuck though. I wish I could just
Thursday nights
have something like that in my house.
That was my time on the YouTube.
Just don't got the time for it.
For nights, if you notice.
I have like 5 projects I'm supposed to be doing. Finishing.
Let's go to number 7. And then
I'll get laid out. I'll put the shit together. And maybe the part doesn't work, and dude be like, maybe next time don't wait 4 fucking months to find out your shit don't work.
And then on
I'm like, you're right, man. You're right.
So that's kind of this was the start of a weekly journey, folks. There's Bobby Vu. My goodness, and we're talking about modding.
I had Bobby pegged just like you, man. I had him pegged wrong so bad because he's unfucking real, man.
That was 3 years ago. Right?
Ain't nobody that nice and altruistic.
I can't believe I got over 10,000.
Nice, Bobby.
That was a really fun time to be able to start that YouTube show. So that was 3 years ago. Man, I'm already 40 minutes in. I'm barely up until 2021 at this point.
Your story, man. Tell it.
During that time in my early years of being a YouTuber, this was also the time I started seeing some of the drama fallout between Retro Ralph and P-Dubs and the At Games folks. Like that was a really big thing back then. It was funny to think about the One Up Weekly at the time, kind of being pitted against the Retro Buzz and then the Super Gamer dudes.
See, he said a key thing, man. Pitted.
It almost felt like wrestling factions, right? That's like, which camp are you part of? Like, who do you like more? And you had loyal fans on both sides of it. It was funny, but I liked all of them. And this is one time where I was like, I was so new to the space, and people were really friendly to me when I reached out to collaborate and get advice from them.
Dude.
I remember reaching out to TechBuzz
early Bobby at all fucking costs
and cameras, and he gave me some
advice. I will
reaching out to Retro Ralph early on,
destroy
and microphones, and his equipment was like high level.
You weren't going after that cat.
I never got to that level. I used the camera that TechBuzz recommended to me and the microphone that he did because it was in my price range. I couldn't get to that high level quality. So I ended up using mediocre equipment, which I'll get to a little bit later.
Bobby's like one of the few people who could have like no alliances and get away with it. Because he don't meet. It's like, man, it's just about family and business, and he got nothing to do with shit. Just living his life. He ain't, you know what I mean? He ain't streaming. He ain't doing none of the BS. He's just
test. All right.
Like,
I gotta stop.
Anything that comes up, he always exits stage left. Like he's nowhere to be found.
I remember reaching out to
you watched that movie Constantine with the voodoo dude who was like the neutral state. Remember?
And what movie is that?
Remember Constantine with
like this
Keanu Reeves?
content creator.
Yes, I haven't seen that in a long time
though. To be able to get people talking about the art of
Hold on.
making content. I thought it would have been
I
a
think it was
really
like
fun
Papa
way
something.
to
What is his name?
make some content and get those folks working together. And I thought I had some credibility at the time to do so. And I was talking to different folks, and I felt like we almost made it happen, almost, but it fell apart. You know,
I'm trying to find the
after,
damn dude's name.
there was just too many burned bridges between the parties.
They're
that
showing
got
the
away.
actor, but they ain't saying
That
the
show,
damn
that kind of collaboration show. I still
name.
have a note somewhere. Questions I would have asked. I wanted
I always call him Dijon Mustard, but it's that Jamon Hunsu guy.
I had Michael B. and
Oh
Peter
yes, married to Russell
from
Simmons' ex-wife.
Game Reviews.
Yeah.
And then I
Yeah.
had Tech Buzz,
Amistad guy.
Steven Haywood, and Cool Toy Doug from the Tech
Guardians
Buzz,
of
or
the
Retro
Galaxy.
Buzz. So I had Super
Yes.
Game Reviews, Tech Buzz. I had all 6 of those
Trying
guys.
to find his character.
To kind of talk about it, but it never happened. It didn't work out. So unfortunately,
Damn.
that roundtable between those cats didn't happen. And you know, personalities
Papa
happen.
Midnight.
Clashes aside,
Papa Midnight.
you know,
okay.
things happen. Grudges are still held.
Papa
But at the
Midnight.
End of the day, we were also
Bobby Blues
talking
to Papa
about
Midnight.
doing this, which is building
Going to the club.
community and building.
You sit down at my
arcade.
table.
Everybody had
You
some sort
dare
of passion to
disrespect
talk
me?
about it. And as I grew, and I'm
Everyone's got to be neutral, you
more,
know.
Right.
anytime I've watched
at
a
the
content
table.
creator make content about stuff, and this is the Illuminati part. It's not the Illuminati part. That's a little bit later. That's 2022. I've never felt people were disingenuous about their passion for talking about these home arcade products. At the time in 2021, when we were talking about virtual pinball,
I'm gonna
and
throw
the
dirt.
quality of
If
these
you're
machines,
catfishing as your wife,
I know there's
on
some other
Facebook,
content creators
you're
out there, and I'll
disingenuous.
just state it, like the Rexer Show, that
Yeah.
would say these shills
throw dirt.
would only highlight the good of these things and never talk about how shitty these products are, right? And so that's his take in 2024 about talking about people when they were talking about products from 3-4 years ago, when at the time they got those products, that was their true feelings about those products because they didn't know any better. So how can you judge somebody from years ago on a product and how they review something if truly at the time they didn't know any better? They didn't have the experience.
I got nothing to say on that.
When people talk in absolute,
he made a great point.
Talks in like they always show a product there, they always do all this shit, right? It's dumb. You can never trust somebody when they talk in absolutes. It's a weird take to have when you're saying somebody's always this thing or always that thing.
Always, it's true.
Dumb because everybody can change, everybody can learn, everybody can work to get that extra knowledge, right? It's
it's been a while.
I shared the beginning of this story that I was a complete fucking noob and didn't know anything about arcades. And eventually I gained a following because I learned, and my interest changed from the different cabinets. Virtual pinball for me, when I reviewed my Star Wars Arcade 1-Up cabinet, was my first new experience into the world of pinball because I had zero nostalgia for it growing up. But it was my first introduction to it. So my cabinet.
There's zero nostalgia because I don't know if I talked about it. I don't think I talked about it on stream yet.
It was
I think I will one day. But he covered it pretty good.
Getting back into the world of pinball, it helped introduce.
It's a class thing. It's like going to golf. You don't see too many black folks playing golf because it's the rich sport. Like you gotta have the money, you gotta have the time.
At the end,
and
the beginning,
there's not many, in the space that can afford to do that. Same with pinball. I didn't wake up and then go to the quick pick across the freaking street and
upright machine setting. And pinball existed like no one's right. It was expensive.
What neighborhood you live in? And then if you did have a pinball, the shit was probably broke.
I thought it was stupid watching people criticize photo reviews of their cabinet and saying that they were ever disingenuous on how they felt about their cabinets. And I'll get back to Console Kits right now because Console Kits
is one of my friends
that I've gotten to know a lot closely over the years. And the people that are talking shit about him and saying that he's a fraud and a shill and that he never cared and he was doing all this to like buy real pinball machines and arcades, you guys are fucking morons if you believe that he was like trying to do this intentionally. If you believe that anybody in this home arcade space is trying to like persuade you or disingenuously tell you some information just so that you can go buy a product for yourself to help out an arcade company, it's stupid. It's ludicrous. right? That we all do this at our
Mm.
original passion, because this is fun. This is the hobby side. Like, we all enjoy what we enjoy. And so hearing somebody else talk about something and be enthusiastic about it, whether they play it or enjoy it or eventually buy the
I had a
machine,
long conversation with a couple of the
I don't
content
understand
creators.
why people
One
don't
of the
let
content
people
creators
enjoy their
in
passion
question,
and let people
they didn't
enjoy watching
show
other
that
people's
they had a
passion.
lot
That
of
there always has to
pinballs,
be some
and
sort
it
of
was mainly for
ulterior
the reason
motive
that everything
for
occurred
things that are happening
because they
in
didn't
whatever
want
space,
other
you know?
content creators to be
And I
jealous,
don't know, want to get into so many
you
different
know,
details of what's
and they
going
owned a
on.
lot.
But it's
Mm.
it's that's crazy to me to think that, like, people still think that of him when I've talking to him in person, and
And
he's
Sea
one
Lion
of
makes a
the,
point.
like, he's very
I said
intentional in
exactly
how
what
he
Kong
speaks.
said.
Justin is
You
a
said it.
storyteller. It's why
Sea
people listen
Lion
to
said
him,
it,
and
but it
he has
only matters
a
until certain
very
people
kind
say
of
it.
unique
And
perspective
as they
on,
said, certain
certain
people claim that
things about
they've
life,
been
not even just
disconnected
arcades,
from
that
the
are talking about
community
things. Like, he's gone
and
out of
chose
his
not to speak
way
on it.
to be a part of, like, a friend group,
But
and
they won't
somebody
because it's
he wants to
drama.
make,
But
be there
only,
for them,
but
and
it's
he
not
goes out
drama
of his
if
way
they
every
do it
week. He's a
and speak
genuinely
on their
nice
passion.
dude. I've had him in my house
It's
before.
a weird
And so it just kills me to feel like there are people that are talking about him, that he was always this disingenuous
standard,
shill that never,
Yeah.
cared
you
about
know.
the community and was
So
selling
would this be
products for the
considered a
benefit of
drama
everybody.
stream?
No,
Because you
we
say it's
just
not.
love fucking
How's that
talking
work?
about arcades, and he's a
Right.
storyteller. It's what Michael B does. It's what P-Dubs does. It's what I do. It's what Rexer does. He loves talking about arcades, but he loves shitting on other people at the same time. It's crazy that we can't just see what each other are passionate about and then leave it at that. I think that's what I'm
He's
trying
right
to
though.
put out there in the
He's
world. And, like,
right.
Yeah.
it's just sitting out me
People
thinking
should
about
100%.
if I should say
be
anything.
able to speak on whatever the fuck they want
But this
as
is
far as
getting
shitting on
back
other
to
people
kind of
and
where
leave
I
it
wanted
be.
to finish off the
Like
story.
if
That
he
episode
has
was just gonna
an
end because I was
opinion
supposed to talk about
about
Marvel's Capcom 2, but ranting on
his
for an
time
hour.
crisis or whatever. But here's the problem,
This
Kong.
this space now
If you're
continues to be a
affiliated
space
with the
that I
company in
enjoy
any form, shape, or
making content
fashion,
on.
and you're
Now
not
that I've, like,
disclosing it,
experienced
people
now,
are going
4
to
years later, I'm
assume
flash
the
forwarding
worst.
a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yep.
If it's a
maybe
known
I'll talk
fact,
about the
you guys have
2022
been
years, right,
passing
where I
along
eventually started doing a little bit more
knowledge
research and
of
whatnot.
the cabinet. Hell, the
Maybe I gotta
time
disclose
crisis
that now,
one, for
right, too,
example,
because
that's right
starting in
behind them. And you're
2021,
pivoting so that people
2021,
can
at
have
the end of that year,
um
was the first time I messaged John D ever
you're
to come on my
I'm
program
gonna get to the
and
point.
do a stream with me. It was a
Manipulating
Halloween stream.
the content to be
Forget
out
it.
there, like,
Sorry,
hey, you
sorry,
know it's going to be out here. Okay, well, you
if you're
cover
going on
this, and
after
I'll
this,
cover this
no, I
next.
apologize. I'm
It
gonna
gets
be the
into the
first one.
whole, people are going to
The
run
Illuminati
rampant with
part.
their
I'm just
imaginations,
trying to get to the end of my
because
story.
even if
But
it's
let's talk
innocent, it's
about it. Let's
not
go
at the same
to
time.
that part of
People
it
don't
and
like to be
how
played
I
for any
started
reasons.
to connect with
So
people
there's
in
guilt.
the arcade developer
There's
space.
not,
It
the hands
was
aren't clean. I'm sorry.
John D. Halloween.
And that's one of the things
I'm not
that
sorry,
exactly
but
happened.
Hold on.
That's exactly what happened to me with the iArcade community, because everybody thought I worked with them personally as far as licensing. And
All
so
right.
then,
So here
when you go to other live streams, people would crap
was
about the
Truth,
iArcade
Shot,
and
or
say, "Oh, well,
Dare with
who asked
John
for this
D.
shovelware?
This
Who
was the
who
first
got this
time
game?" And the
I
fingers would be
ever
pointed to me, and I'm like,
professionally
"No,
connected with John,
I'm
and
not the
it
one
was
that
something different. People
okayed
have
or
had him on the
licensed
show at
these
one point in
shovelware
time,
games or
but I was like,
games that people think that are bad. It was the
was in
CEO and
October,
whoever else that
Halloween,
was making the decisions.
2021.
Now,
right.
when it
I
came
had him
to
on the Ready show. It
talking
was
to
either
the
Shot or
companies and
Dare,
trying to push
and it was just a
hundreds and
video.
hundreds the
It
way to
was
iArcade,
Mhm.
iArcade had the decision on who they were going to pick. They're the ones who chose what they brought to the console. And so, like, yeah, you got a lot of people spreading malicious rumors, and then that's when you get the crap parties talking, and then you got the different dissensions, the different groups, and the gatekeeping, and all of that shit, man. And I could see why people are leaving the YouTube streaming space from enjoying from what they like doing because
Right.
of the drama that's coming, that's been persistent since what shit 2021.
Right.
Even before that.
In your opinion, if people, I mean, we might as well just go there. If people like Kong or the bigger tubers had spoke openly and candidly about this prior without throwing sand in anybody's face that were or were not victims, do you think this would have been addressed better? Or do you think that people are putting too much onus on them, even though, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it would have been addressed better. Like if they would have been open and talked about it previously, I think it would have saved a lot of people canceling or deleting their YouTubes
I
and,
agree.
and all of that.
Because in my opinion, regardless if we want to say it or not, they're
Mhm.
community leaders.
Yeah,
There ain't no other way around it. If you talk about the space, you know, like JLS was saying, like, hey, when I first came into the space, it was Dubs. When I first came into the space, it was
Mhm.
Kong. When I first came, you know, these are like, it's like the top five, the Mount Rushmore. You know what I mean? Michael
Yeah.
B. And it's waited and waited. Now, don't get me wrong. People need to take on, you know, for their own actions. That's just a fact. But I think it's weird too that if you know people or if you have personal conversations or whatever, that you can't at least. No one's saying like if you're friends with whoever, you're friends with whoever.
Yeah.
Right is right and wrong is wrong, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I made it a point where it's like, well, you don't have to block them forever and learn to forgive and forget and this and that. But if you don't, but you know, just like a child with discipline, if you don't put them at least on the damn staircase, it's basically the same premise of saying, do that one more time, and that's all you keep doing. Kid's gonna eventually learn you ain't gonna do shit.
Yeah. Yep.
Until you block them, right? And then they're bitch, you know, and then when you don't unblock for a bit, they go, oh, damn. They're serious.
Yep.
Maybe before I type again, I'm going to think, last time I did this, I was blocked for like 4 months. But they don't. And then they go, this is drama. Who cares if you were misled? Or you know, to the point of criminality almost, you know, like
right.
What's wrong with you to detract from from this shit? How about cops get called on your house and see if you keep saying that BS? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But moving on.
To stay connected, we were just having some fun at the time. So, yeah.
John D. Why does it feel like this is like 11 years ago shit? Kong got black hair, no gray. It's like 3 years. What the fuck?
I think the space is stressed people out.
This age people like the presidency. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, even with
I don't recognize these people.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Especially with when remember when John started, he had all black hair, and then like when he started disappearing and stuff like that and came back, he was like a lot of grays. I'm like, damn, this space is doing this to people, man. It's not even that serious.
Oh, God. I think they see their community as their inner right. I agree. You're dreaming if you're calling him a community leader. Hey, it is just like you, man. You're one of the bigger people in the space. You're a no name. He was a cloud chaser. Jesus, tell me how you really feel.
Just like the others who took sides, clowns. Hashtag clowns.
COVID and YouTube age. You know, how about this? Maybe I can reword it for so you can agree. Should have been a leader. But that doesn't take away that I think he's a great human being and a great parent and father and all that good stuff in the space. I'm just making points to what's being broadcast publicly. And this generalized issue involves me, She Lion. I'm a name drop because when he's talking about Console Kids, right? And then when Console Kids made his post, you know, that's what it was about. So here we go. I think everyone needs to go back and start at episode 1 of the Retro Buzz.
You can see
I'm gonna screenshot this.
One-sided.
Why are you gonna have me going down rabbit holes, man? All right, here we go though. I'll do that later. I screenshotted it. All right, here we go.
This is the first time I ever had John on my show just to kind of
This
build
dude, Poe.
him and
Is he Cloud?
have fun.
He looks.
And John
Is that him?
is an interesting character.
I can't even
John,
see who that is.
I would say John
You
is
got
addicted
Tifa
to
and
being a
Cloud.
content creator without being a content
Oh,
creator.
shit,
He loves
okay.
YouTube because he loves watching
That's
YouTube,
calm.
and all the home arcade channels, and he loves watching himself on these
Thought he
channels
was
too.
over.
He has that personality, so he
Hey,
enjoyed interacting with the community because it was part of his personality, wanting to not if
oh yeah, amazing
because
human
of his
being.
role as a licensee person and working for a company,
I'm not gonna
he
take that
could
away.
never make this type of content on his own, but he knew what kind of
Excuse me.
story he wanted to share. So that's why he probably went on so many shows and talked.
But like
and
I
things
said,
that, 'cause that was who
this
he
is a
is,
critique
what
for
he
the
wanted to do.
moment
So
in
this was the
time.
first time I ever talked with John.
It's my hot takes.
There,
Watching.
I actually did
I'm gonna
go
speak
and
on it.
visited his office in November of that year because
And I know that he's brave enough that if he has an issue, he speaks on it. He'll talk.
So there was an arcade one up.
I'm not gonna go nowhere
Office
below the
tour.
belt or whatever, but I will speak on hot takes.
I'm going to show you how to make a
Look at
cute
this shit.
vintage-inspired wallpaper
Monetize
in partnership
it.
with Adobe Express. Let's start by scattering our
Damn ads.
Let's see, is that going to show up here? Here it is. Okay, so
Did he?
this was the first time in 2021 where
I
we
don't
got
know.
to go see the arcade one.
I literally, I'm
and
not
this was
joking. I watched the
in
last
November of
60 seconds. My man
in
said
there,
because his
funny
audio
story,
was
by the
messed up
way,
or something
so
like
on
that.
this
He
little
may
whiteboard
restart
there,
it and do
he had
whatever.
to
I was like,
erase
not
this
today.
little right there that said
That's-
Fast
And it's a
Furious
slow
2,
whatever. So
or Fast and Furious.
It's like
well, hot
that
take because
was
it's
the
slow
first time
day.
I
That's
actually
it.
saw on his whiteboard that he had
X-Men
something about
97
Fast and
comes
Furious.
out,
And look,
and
this is
then
something else that never
everybody
came
quits.
to fruition. Pinball stools, right? There was something about pinball stools. But
X-Men
anyways, that
97
was the
published
whiteboard
by
there. He
Disney
says Cyrus
Plus.
to do, Dylan was there. Do that, and he says Zohar sucks with pen. He was
Who's
very
this?
invested in the community, so he's taking tabs and notes. That's the guy. But I got to visit his office and connect with him more. And that day, I went to his office. We did a live stream. I think he was open to doing a live stream, and then we went to a barcade. And Mrs. Kongzos
But
and I were
why
there. Oh,
would
and
you
Killer
think-
Instinct was there. We didn't do a live stream. So
Because
this
he's
was
right.
right before
So
Killer
jealousy's going to take
Instinct. We
part
had a
because
prototype
now
of
he's
Instinct there, and I
in
was able to
with
play
the.
that and
You
just
got
kinda
two
make
Asian
fun there.
Americans.
I was able
talking to
to
each other.
also test out the
Probably
Simpsons for the first
1000%
time.
innocent.
Simpsons just came out.
But
This was some
now you got
Killer
the jealousy
Instinct
at heart
gameplay.
because it's like,
This
well,
was
why
also the
can I
release
get
of Mortal
access to
Kombat,
John
and
D?
I eventually made
And then
video on
clearly
YouTube of all that stuff.
you're probably going to get some inside
That was, like,
scoops,
my first
stuff like
kind of
that.
building a relationship
Then you got
with
good
John,
friends that
and
publicly are your friends
and then
that
at
happen to
that
get the
point in time,
inside scoop
I
too.
now had
So people are
access to be
going
able
to
to
ride the
message them if I had a question
speculation
or what.
train
That was kind of my relationship with John.
because
Or had anything. Like,
all
we
you're
weren't
going to
in
do
any
is you're
other,
going to
like,
double
group
down, you're
chat
going to
yet
triple
at the
down, you're
time.
going to go,
But in
ain't nothing
2021,
happening, ain't
that's
nothing
what we were
happening.
doing. That's kind of
3
like,
years later,
we were
it's,
connecting there. Okay,
yeah, one
so the
time I
next
got
bigger interaction that
a
I had
check,
with John,
or
and this
one
is just going
time
through
I
my
got
home
this.
arcade journey
Well,
with that.
if you were more open to being
I think it was
man
Shaq's
about something
Funhouse.
that you have no
That was the
reason
next time
to
that I saw
not
him.
disclose,
Let's do it.
people
Y'all
won't
remember
come at you
this?
so much.
We're
And
moving
even if
into
they did, it's just so
2022.
fucking what? It's not illegal.
So
Like,
in 2022,
Yeah.
I went to
Arcade One Up,
Shaq's Funhouse.
you know, compensates me
and
for my
I paid,
opinion.
It's
You're like,
Valentine's
they
Day
sent me a review cabinet.
2022. or
Congratulations. I wish I could do
February
that same
11th.
shit. Like,
$400. My ticket to go
fuck?
to Shaq's Funhouse.
You
I
know,
paid $400 for Bobby Boo to do my
there's just
cake.
no reason to hide it.
Right.
And then I got to see John here too. So this was a fun time to be able to kind of see
Wow,
John here
okay.
as well and kind of build more relationship
Oh,
with them.
shit.
This is my next event that I did with John. And I'm jumping streams because there's a couple of stories that back.
Oh, man.
So this was the NBA Jam Shaq Fun House that I did. This is a fun event that I did with him in 2022. The next other
That's your
event that we
opinion.
did that year in 2022,
I understand.
and I can't believe this was like so long ago, right? Was the
Free
Red Cross
speech.
charity sample sale stream, right? In June of 2022, John reached out to me and said, "Hey, we have inventory at a warehouse. We want to do an event." And funny enough, this
Jesus, I
stream
can't
here
highlight.
was the first time we kind of publicly acknowledged that there was the Illuminati, because I think it was January of this year.
Yes, I can.
There's a video here. Let's see if we can see the intro. I'll
Mhm.
do the intro, and then
Well,
John
you
in the
know my take.
background
Ay,
I had a
ay,
different
ay.
experience with them.
Time.
I
Let's
have a
see if
decent
we can
experience
see it
with
here.
both.
We there's anything with that.
Yikes. Yeah. Man. But
I got a decent experience with console kits. I got a decent experience with John, and it's like I explained to people before. It's kind of like finding out. Like, I'm a crazy analogy, right? You find out you're adopted and you're adopted, but then you find out the people who adopted you were your kidnappers.
After this,
you love your parents, you're conflicted. So,
sample
just
sale.
like I
So
acknowledge
this
other people, I
happened,
say, hey, these are your truths.
the lie
I
of
acknowledge these things, bad things happen to you,
this was an
but at the
amazing
same
event that I
time,
really loved doing,
right is right, wrong
to
is
raise
wrong. I'm not
money.
gonna take
It's a way
that
for
from
us
you,
to
but
not only things different
everyone's got their own friendships.
You're raising some cause. Apologies for my friend, but I want to get into these stories. But this was the
damn, people aren't being hard enough on Justin. Shit.
You don't think so?
kind of the start of the official Illuminati.
You don't think so?
that
I mean,
people were referring to at the time. Everybody that was involved in this event.
well, remember now,
John,
my
that was
my channel ain't even been around for not even a year. This was created in like April. It was a whole IRK, and I was around longer than that, but it had not. I didn't know nobody. Like, I just understood who John D was less than a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who the fuck is this guy? It's what I kept asking, and then I learned about. And then the only reason why he was popular to me is because of the Bill connection. So for a lot of people, John D was the scumbag who took down the Hilo thing, and I'm like, I don't know nothing about this crap. So then after shortly understanding who Bill was, I bought an MSVX. And that's pretty much the stint. And then I started, the hearsay, talking to people. But look at, this is what I've been talking about before. I mean, look, he's showing this right now. You got Kong, UAG, Moat, and Michael B. Now, out of all this, who will you ever see in a stream together again with? Like, let's play connect the dots. Let's start with UAG. Would you see him in the stream again with Kong?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I agree.
No.
Do you think you ever see him in the stream again with Moat?
Maybe.
It's a maybe. I'm gonna say no. And then Michael B. I'm just gonna no hesitation.
No, I don't think so.
Now let's so this way. Michael B. and Moat. Have there ever been a connection other than this from way back? Now, I don't know nobody's friendship. I'm just saying the optics, because that's what matters. See, that's the thing about people and jobs and career fields and stuff like that. It has little to do with actual facts, but the optics. So like in the military, right? The definition of an unprofessional relationship ain't necessarily the relationships. It's the perception that there's a relationship going on that will create an unfair workplace.
Got it. All right.
That's how that works. I don't think so. When's the last time we seen these two together?
I think they had a show just about maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
I want to say.
That was
the Make It Loud. That's when they made a reference to talking to the retailer to get the specific cab that we all like. So if, for example, if we wanted NARC, everybody in the community should be going to the retailers instead of to Arcade 1UP, because Arcade 1UP wants to do it, but it's the retailer that can't get NARC off the floor because they're thinking optics as well. Like, oh yeah, well, Ninja Turtles is owned by Nickelodeon. That's a big deal. We could sell that like hotcakes. But NARC is something that's existed back in 1988, and like Walmart probably don't think they could sell it, so they wouldn't go for it. But if it was a backing of hundreds of us, thousands of us, they'll probably push for NARC.
Yeah, I heard you That was great commentary. Oh shit, this is my AI bot. I haven't set this shit up. Why is he gonna join? I gotta figure this shit out. It's supposed to be like some AI bot thing. Like, you bastard, it's been an hour. Where you been? Sekro says he remembers our first interaction. Yeah, Teddy, man. Teddy! You cheater! Sheila makes a good point. What has Justin done to actually hurt someone in IRL? I mean, unless I get told, then I got no reason to give a fuck. Because I mean, game shit, YouTube shit, whatever. Now IRL, we have a different story, you know. Like, have more history. People are actually bashing Justin based on misconstrued information. I agree. That is a fact. Misconstrued. Not even talking about what someone posted on the video. I'm speaking of my experience. Well, we understand tech, but you know how that goes. We like getting straight to the point.
That
Drop
there was
the dirt.
never a group chat with John D, and it was because of this particular where we needed to coordinate with him, so that way we can get on board at the same page. So that was the first time there was ever a group chat with John D.
But yeah, you made a great point.
It was a really good event. Most people got some great deals out of it and everything too. And then afterwards, that chat stuck around, right? Is my audio that bad?
This guy.
Yeah, is the right audio selected? Elgato face cam. Can you guys?
That's probably why he said he had to redo the stream.
Yeah, it's that bad. It's horrible. It sucks. Dang. Dang. I'm all using this like audio mic too. You missed out on most of the story. I gotta start this whole stream over again. Man, that fucking sucks. Unplug it and plug it back in. Hold on.
Wearing that X-Men shirt. So do you think he will get a review cabinet on that?
Oh, you mean the X-Men 97 cab?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then
what are you wearing? It looked like a Cyclops thing going on.
Oh, me?
Yeah, it looks fancy.
Oh no, it's
okay.
I got this
Mario.
I got this from this place called Lunchbox.
That they did at Disney stuff.
In and out.
Love it.
You can hear us again.
Yeah.
It's like the best thing in the mall.
It was fine for you.
Yep.
Microphone money.
Yeah, Hot Topics fell off, man.
I was trying to use my official Audio Technica mic, but it didn't really work out that bad. It's okay, it's back. I think it's like touching the microphone. It sounds better. All right, Thumper Squid's gonna go. Can't handle the bad sound. I'm sorry, Thumper Squid. You know,
sorry
I
for
think
your
bad things about
interactions
is
that you've had.
I can't hear myself, or maybe that's why I need to get properly to.
I don't know what they could experience during the stream. Maybe he ain't sounding bad.
Record this whole story and do a 15.
Maybe he already re-uploaded and I got something.
That way we'll make some better stuff. Mike is still untrustworthy because it sucks because you want to relive this stuff.
Or if he did StreamYard, StreamYard, they do a local save, so his audio should probably be good.
Is that right? Can you guys hear me now? It sounds okay. Don't touch anything. All right. Thank you guys for speaking up with this. I appreciate it.
I remember Kong hiding in his pantry.
The history part, the Illuminati got to me. I started talking about it.
So somebody told me that story. And that's why so yes, everybody, the AI art is that inspiration. If you didn't see the thumbnail, that's the inspiration for the art.
You're loving this.
The hiding in the pantry.
Let's do this.
Yeah. He promised his wife, I'm not going to live stream.
If someone, I want to find that stream.
I always say it, the number one thing.
Oh, man. His wife was mad as hell, man.
I would be. That's crazy.
But you gotta have
can't be telling that to the wife, man.
Right.
Man, I saw your damn camera move. I'm like, Rack, no.
Like the old, right?
You scared me.
All right. What up,
No, I'm
President,
waiting in line to pick up my kids from
change
school.
there
Gotcha.
to
That's what everyone was telling me is that, yeah, man, drop my kid off or whatever. You're my cut out.
Can you guys give me a thumbs up and let me know how everything
I
is
need to get a
working?
mobile mic like you got.
Much
I need a
better?
camera, all that
It's
crap.
on
I'm
a
still doing
five
this shit on
screen.
iPad.
Yeah, I'm using this microphone
Shit,
right now.
yeah.
Maybe
Oh man, they got a great
um,
sale on some mics over at
set up
in
there.
Walmart. Like some of them are half off.
All right,
Mm-hmm.
I'll do that.
I seen a Yeti
All right,
mic
some
marked
produced
down from
content telling these
$99 to
stories and some with B-roll.
$39.
It might make more work than stream, but good content for what it's worth.
Okay.
It might be. All right, maybe I'll tell this story and make an edited version of this down.
Yeah, see,
I have no
that's probably
problem.
what
I'm
that's
too
what I heard.
freaking lazy to be able to go through all this stuff and make a real edited video. But maybe I will. This was just something I wanted to get off my chest. All right, so I'll go back to.
So I
I
only
was
heard
sharing- I
about
was
60
talking about
seconds
the
of that, and
Illuminati
then
and
I
when that
stopped it,
officially
and then
started. Okay,
Mm.
as far as
that's
I know,
the part I heard, and that's
official
it. I haven't heard anything
Illuminati
else.
like video, I think came out in January of 2021.
So this is what I have not heard, and I guess we won't be hearing nothing else.
So I was sharing with John
Excuse me.
at the
Seriously.
At Amica Insurance,
After these messages,
Damn
we know
it!
this isn't a
Damn it!
we'll be
house.
right back.
It's more than that.
Michael B. stream.
at this NBA Jam event. It was kind of the first public nod
We
we
got
were making
Cyrus.
fun of the Illuminati.
Can you
Right.
count?
Look at
Suckers?
this.
Look how young he looks.
Just go forward a
Oh,
little bit.
baby face.
So I think John popped into the screen here for just a second. Like he's right there. I'm doing a little intro,
So happy.
and he's gonna flash.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I'm saying. I don't even have my audio for this on, but he's gonna go over there. He's coming on. Oh, I was just trying to flash something else. Hello.
He was showing off that girl's ass. That's all.
Yeah, there's Bobby. There's John.
There you go, John.
He's saying, "What's up?" Okay, I thought he flashed an Illuminati sign.
John,
right there.
why
I
he
think
come
that
in
was
look like
funny.
something out of the
I'm just trying to remember, like I
a John
remember
Wick
him
movie.
flashing an Illuminati sign and going like this in the middle of the screen. Is it right here?
Didn't he look like
This is where I need to do
Sammo
more
Hung
research
at the end
and
of
be able to
Kung
have that
Fu
on
Flick?
there. But
Right.
anyways,
Came
that's the
dressed
start of
sharp,
when the
man.
Illuminati. I don't even know if that still exists.
Look like you
But
go
at the time,
assassinate.
I don't remember the
Get a
content of that
earpiece
video.
for
It was
him.
like,
Shit.
these are the people that are in a secret chat with John and want to be able to, support the company and be a shill for everything and do all the things.
Taking
and
over. See,
these are
Mark?
the list of content creators that are working with John directly to influence the company and do all these things. At this time when that video came out, there was no group chat that at least I was a
How much
part
more
of.
time I got? Ooh,
I didn't know
3 moments.
anything of who all those people there. There he is. He makes that little Illuminati sign right there, right? So he's making
Now,
fun of it.
Can I ask
Like
this
at this
question?
point is that it was
Mhm.
fun
Who
at the time.
who's the
Things
one that
the
coined
people
the
really
phrase
thought there was
Illuminati?
something like the Illuminati
coined
thing
that?
going on.
Where
And
did
then
it
what I
come
was saying,
from?
I don't know, but I'm gonna assume. From what I recall,
official sale.
no, Mo brought it up. So if
Okay.
I recall, it was a stream maybe affiliated with him,
hmm
and during that, their chat got exposed, which is fine, grown ass
Mhm.
men having their circle jerk talks like we all do it, right?
Right.
And that's when I'm projecting the folks like Rexer and crew did their tinfoil hat crap. Like, look, see, I told you they're all conspiring against you kind of bit. And I think he probably long had that analogy going on. And then it just got more confirmed because of the chat exposure. That makes
Got
sense. And then that just spread. It was a buzzword being spread to spread hate on the people
Right.
in the group. But look, like it happens, right? People are affiliated. Everybody. And then the relationships get soured. And then everyone's hating on everyone. And that's how it goes.
Yep.
Some more than the other. Who is that guy in the top screen of the right? Papa Brad. Above Michael B? What? You talking about him? You joking.
We're in a group chat with John
He
because
said
of the
Bob.
sale.
You clowning.
We caught it.
Tech-
Red Cross.
That's UAG, man.
Charity, like that was the name
Oh,
of the
oh,
chat
uh,
was
that's
part of the
UAG.
Living the Stream.
That's
And
He
that's
said
UAG.
how
Papa
everybody
Brad.
anybody can attest to that. That was the only group chat
Why?
set up with John D at the time that was talking about kind of arcade and stuff. Once this event passed, and after this time for this event,
Yes.
I'll be right
so
back
you
in a
was-
second.
No problem, brother.
With the
He
arcade
picked.
One-Up,
He not
he
only
was
picked
doing
on him, but it got
events
to
with
the
them.
point of it was
That
a straight
year, I
fucking
did,
bigotry because these
Comic-Con.
guys being
So
people
I
of
did
color,
Comic-Con,
UAG,
this
and
roulette
Mo,
brewery event. This is the
explain
event
the
that I
whole
did,
history and why they do what
with,
they do.
with
Excused at the same
what do you
time, he
call it?
made excuse for
Liv.
my
We
homegirl
did an
Sheline
event
because
this
she was a
year with
veteran, et
Liv
cetera, et
on
cetera.
site. I was
Until
doing
he
events in
started trying to
person there.
clown on
So there was
her
this perception
for
that
being
I was
transsexual
working
and
with arcade.
freaking, just being a
That
fucking
we did the
homophobe, transphobe, whatever you want to
Impact
fucking
event
call
in
it,
LA that year.
spreading
Did,
bullshit about
the Red
welfare,
Cross sale in Los
people in the
Angeles as
community,
well.
calling people
We did this
homeless.
Comic-Con event, which I go to every year.
Anyways, I'm gonna get
Comic-Con.
off that.
And then that
Pieces of
same
shit.
year too, I also went to Evo
Can't stand that
2022.
shit.
So there was like a series of events that I went to
Of course he does. He's a
that
fucking
year that
hypocrite.
really started getting me, I guess, synonymous with being involved with Arcade One Up, because I was like, I was gonna go to Evo anyways, and then I got asked to help out with the release of MBC2, which we'll get to, which is me talking to Justin Wong on the stream. And at the time, I don't think, and this is where I'll give credit to like some of the folks that were calling me out of not disclosing relationships with Arcade One Up and all that stuff for making this level of content. Because at the time I was making this content and going to these things, like I don't think I knew that like I needed to put disclosures for just being involved with a a stream like this. I knew.
What's he trying to say? That he didn't understand that he didn't have to disclose, like he just said, or he's trying to say that, or is he saying that he has a relationship with Arcade One Up? I don't get it. Exactly, man. Eyes hurt. These screens have these crazy glare.
So I knew about if you got a product for review and during the product review itself, you needed to say stuff, but I didn't know that you had to make any type of disclosure for just having like a guest with Justin Wong or being in a room with them, right? Or just because I was in connection with them, like just talking about a product means you have to disclose every single time that you talk about them.
No, I don't think that's what they're saying. I think they're saying if you're receiving any type of favoritism via products as a alternate form of payment, or if you got a check, or if they asked you to, personal relationship that can influence people's true unbiased opinions, then yeah, you're supposed to disclose, because then that means that they have a relationship with you and that you can alter people's opinions because you have a following. So yeah, you're supposed to disclose if you're an influencer in this space.
Maybe. I don't know. I think sharing the story may give some context to that. But this was another one of those like, hey, this is my journey to like getting more involved with the company. And this was probably, I would say,
right?
the height of community involvement and engagement before a lot of different fallout with the larger community. Because after MVC2 launched Evo, which was a really fun time, afterwards we had our first event in Chicago with the boys, and I got to hang out a lot with the folks on YouTube, and I got to be friends with Michael B and Justin and Carl and P-Dubs, and we had a good time. And 19K Fox, right? We got to be able to hang out a little bit more and do our Chicago
Jesus Christ.
Too. But then Blitz happened, and then Blitz and the community and all those other stuff that kind of started I would say the downside of overall community sentiment events. It never got as high as it was during that Evo time period and with the NFL Blitz launch. that's when things started kind of, I would say, trending downwards for excitement. There was like no bigger excitement for the
Is he saying he
company
didn't have
than
relationship with these
NBC2
folks
and
until
NFL
the
Blitz. I think
Evo?
that was the height of
Almost
Was
getting
my
Evo
head.
a
before
bunch of cabs
was
that
Evo
year. I
before
think
Game and Brew
Dragon's
Night
Den
at
want to make
iArcade?
content sort of alter.
I don't remember, and I just lost my goddamn space. Hold on, sorry guys. Go Let's see here.
I think Game and Brew Night was their first camaraderie get together.
So they didn't know each other prior, because it seems like they were butt buddies forever.
I thought so too.
Because they were on the streams together. They had to have some relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't stream with people you don't have relationships with.
I can tell you for a fact that like a lot of community members were kind of they were upset because they're like, damn, you would think that everybody would be wanting together at this Game and Brew function, but like it seemed like it was two separate groups, and it's like, damn, they're doing their own thing, and at the same time they're buying an NFL Blitz to do a review for it on Game and Brew weekend. So it's like,
yeah, I remember that the optics to me, and I'm saying at that moment in time, the optics to me looked like they were Arcade1Up spies, just sit there to kind of derail what iArcade had going on. And me, I'm no fan of iArcade, but to me it looked sus as hell from the optics, because it's like you're supposed to be there for iArcade and you're wearing A1Up shirts. And it's like you literally had a stream. We're gonna do Blitz, A1Up hat, shirts, and then we take it off, put it on, and you walk into the iArcade space and like, hey, now we're iArcade shills. And then it was just a weird thing to me, because it's like, because for the iArcade thing, it was supposed to be a limited amount of room. Yeah. I don't know about you, but if I'm in a small space with iArcade, I would like, of course, the bigger name YouTubers, but it's like, no, let's bring in another crew that's gonna be more dedicated to. It's like you have your hands in everything. Who are you? There's got to be a point where there's an allegiance, because you're friends with John D. There ain't no way in hell you're friends with Jong at the same time. Or, like there is an allegiance somewhere, or just getting over on everything. I don't know. It's just, they're right. But that don't mean that I can't see it for what I see. Like you were pretty much dedicated iArcade.
Right.
Go ahead and send it. I can read it.
Yeah, it was unfortunate too, man. Because the ones that were doing most of so Brooklyn Menace was there. So like he did his coverage, and I think he did his 24/7. So like, as far as the scopes for iArcade, that was good. But like the prime ones, like Brad or Jeff, they weren't even there. So it was like, damn, you have these guys, you have these set of guys that are here that were it seemed distant, but then you had the other groups that didn't even show up.
Right. It was interesting.
Yeah. But I think towards the end, like all of that got combed over, because it was just like everything melded. I think majorly because of Dominic. Dominic had that fight against P-Dubs in Breaker's Revenge, and it's just everybody was just like partying afterwards. But like, yeah,
right.
You could just sense it, man. It was just like, you're like, damn, like not sort of like it, like not beef tension, but like it just felt like there was a separation.
And that's sad. So it was definitely. So do you think it was more because it was a purposeful clicking going on, or more because of familiarity? Like, I'm nervous, I'm just not a talker, but I know who this person is, so I need to be next to this person. Do you think it was more like that, or do you believe that it was kind of a mixture of both? Or
I know for Moat, he was sick, so like he wasn't in the mood to really be in everybody's face, because he was really sick,
right?
And then I think he had to leave early. With all the other guys, It was just like it seemed like it wasn't like shit, man. How can I explain it?
It was a cold atmosphere.
No, because like it's weird. Everybody resonated. It just seemed like before, like okay, we'll say like the very first day, everybody went to, except for me, went to Galloping Ghost.
I
And
heard
then
they
from
split the groups,
right, exactly. It
and that was
two
done on
separate
purpose.
groups.
Clearly,
Yeah, and everybody
why
was
would you
like, well,
split?
hey, where's Dubs? Where's this person? Where's that person? And then like it was like, oh, like they did their own separate thing. I'm like, damn, shit, it's fucked up.
Right. Which was
And,
probably not their intentions, but whoever did that, clearly
Yeah.
the people who are in charge, which would be John and Michael Svaback, split the groups. And there's a reasoning behind that, clearly, because it's not like they said, hey, I want you, and you to be with me. And if they, but clearly that was the case, right? Because the crew stayed together. The people who were more dedicated to iArcade were with the iArcade crew, and the people more
Yes.
dedicated with the A1UP crew stayed with the A1UP crew.
yeah,
And it's supposed to be a Game and Brew get together, but it seems like during that time period, it grew people more apart. If that makes sense.
yeah. I would say that from there the dissension grew even more, and that's where you got a lot of more people on different shows talking about, well, they're not even conducive with each other. Like you
Right.
could see the separation. You could see like the separation or the cliques or the fraternities, the frat boys or the good old boys, whatever. So then you got all these other assumptions, these rumors. Oh, well, the shoes are going to shoes for A1UP. We got the spies from A1UP going over to iArcade, spying on what they got and all this other shit and stuff like that. So that's the gist of what came out of from Game and Brew. But then, like I said, towards the end, I think it was more so when Dominic and P-Dubs broke bread and they played Breaker's Revenge. It was like it became more
But look at that. That shows you, even from Dom's side and P-Dub's side, and people can say that they're not. But people look to these folks as an example and a leader. And it's like people crossing that bridge together, and shaking hands and go, oh, well, if he's cool with them, no, I'm cool with them, And it takes the right people to do that.
I would say trending downwards for excitement. There was like no bigger excitement for the company than MVC2 and NFL Blitz. I think that was the height of
No.
getting a bunch of cabs that year. I think
this is where I left off.
I have the air
came out that
conditioner
year
on.
as well. Those were just exciting times for the company. It was really, really good. All right.
I don't know. That's what 19K
P-Dub
Fox
says he
said.
wasn't involved in the event. How did you get into this Illuminati? Wait, you just have a circle of friends and you're in the Illuminati. Geez, there's like 20 billion Illuminati.
There he is. That's P-Dubs.
Well,
I wasn't
and the
involved
funny
in-
thing
Hold
about
on,
that
hold on,
group
hold on.
chat that we have,
I gotta read this. I wasn't involved in that event. How did I get in this Illuminati? Oh wait, just have a circle of friends and you are in Illuminati. Jesus, like 20. This is true.
with John is that
That's
in
that's
order
the
to
gist.
make
Yeah, that's the gist.
Yeah, he's right.
I mean,
fun
the
of the
optics, dude.
Illuminati, we changed the
optics
group
is everything.
title of that chat to Illuminati for funsies. And what context was ever in that group chat? I don't even know if it still exists right now because
It's going to they can't delete the chat from under you, Kong. So let's get the facts. Until you leave the group, the chat exists.
it got dissolved at one point. But it was a lot of
Unless the admin kicks you out.
just like random talk about NFL. I think there was a fantasy football draft that year for the upcoming football season. Right afterwards, from June through September. I think that's the main time frame that big chat was active. And so that's all it really was at the time. There was never a time where outside of those events where John would be talking to that group as a whole to do anything. It wasn't that type of chat. It was originally meant for kind of work purposes. So
let's analyze that. So we heard the context. He's talking about the chat, right? Let me play this again.
John, is that in order to make fun of the Illuminati, we changed the group title of that chat to Illuminati for funsies. And what context was ever in that group chat? I don't even know if it still exists right now because it got dissolved at one point. But it was a lot of just like random talk about NFL. I think there was a fantasy football draft that year for the upcoming football season. Right afterwards, from June through September. I think that's the main time frame that big chat was active. And so that's all it really was at the time. There was never a time where outside of those events where John would be talking to that group as a whole to do anything. It wasn't that type of chat. It was originally meant for kind of work purposes. So
Work purposes.
Was that a Freudian? What do you call it? Freudian? How you pronounce that? Psychologist
Was it
name?
Freudian?
Freudian slip. Freudian slip.
So that chat was.
He's like, there's
used
no
for
big deal,
work
but it was just for
purposes.
work purposes.
But you guys don't
May
work
he
for
crow
okay.
in the next 5 seconds where he elaborates better, and I go,
Yeah.
oh, that's what he meant. But right now, when I paused it, that's all that's ringing in my ears.
Yeah.
And if you're saying you're working, which is fine, you're a grown ass man, get that better. But I think it's if I'm a main content streamer and I'm like, here's the next Miss Pac-Man cab, they sent it to me for review. Simple. But if you keep going, I have no clue who this guy is, or I don't and then you're in streams with them, and then you're saying, oh, it's just you guys are loony bins. There's nothing bad going on, which is probably not. It's just true. But then you throw it in slip and go, well, this is just for work purposes. Doesn't that like play into the fact that I don't know? I do.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. I got it.
This man said work. That's a clip. You can take this out of context all day and just clip it. Jesus Christ, man. 109.
yeah, I think that's
30.
what it was. There wasn't anything more than that, but it actually do. James hates everything.
Wow. Oh,
It wasn't that type of chat. It was originally meant for kind of work purposes. So
one more time.
Oh boy, Rexer's gonna have a field day with that. Work purposes.
Jesus Christ, man.
and so that's all it really was at the time. There was never a time where outside of those events where John would be talking to that group as a whole to do anything. It wasn't that type of chat. It was originally meant for kind of work purposes. So
even if people being friends and taking it a little too far, right? And they're like, oh, you work for that, like grown ass man, I can do what I want, right? Or woman, I can do what I want, right? Why give such kickback to the fact that there is a relationship? It's not a big deal. But 4 years later, man, saying you have a group, because it went from it's just a friendly group to now it's a work group. Jesus, dude. So subs, super chats, views, pay, which people can have. They can have you're permitted to have private groups for work purposes. You're a grown ass person. So subs, super chats, views, paid members, and vendors to compensate them with free stuff and checks. That's what it sounds like. That's the optics. That's just the optics. It wasn't a good. Maybe it was a bad, poor choice of words.
Um,
But it doesn't sound
yeah,
like
I
it.
think that's what it was. There wasn't anything more than that, but it actually do. James hates everything. You have to disclose a relationship if you have a host on a show.
There you go. James is right. You do have to disclose a relationship if they have you host shows on their channels or get gifts, because it could bias your opinions. Exactly. You are an influence. Here's the bit. Let's get to the nitty gritty, right? Guys, correct me if I'm wrong. Chime in if you think I'm right or wrong. You're fucking influencer, dude. You know it. Do you? You're a great person, but do you seriously, my man is about the business. Do you seriously in your life believe that a company will have shit to do with you? Yes, I'm cussing. With shit to do with you if they didn't believe you are an influencer. They're not gonna fuck with somebody like me. I got 200 fucking subs. But if I had your amount and people were coming in 200 plus, they're gonna fuck with me. You are an influencer, so you know what this is about. Come on. And by that standard, you're going to have an opinion. And even you could sit here and say it all day. I've been in the military long enough. If you get paid or get a gift and you don't disclose it, it's a big deal. And the reason is because no matter what, you're influenced, man. You're influenced. You're not going to go as hard reviewing, say, that Time Crisis Behind You. Say that Time Crisis Behind You suck, right? I'm a speak person, Kong. Say that Time Crisis Behind You suck. I don't care what you say, my brother. I don't believe you're going to be like, yo, this Time Crisis is so garbage. Don't ever, buy it. Like, I mean, being blunt about it, right? You're not going to give that type of review. You're going to give a washed down, watery opinion. In my opinion. This is my opinion. I'm projecting. I am projecting on this brother. I am projecting on him. I don't believe that's going to be the case. You're going to water it down. You're going to go, well, despite its shortcomings, these are the shortcomings, but there's some good in it too. Don't get me wrong. There could be good and bad in everything, right? But you're not going to poop on it like that. And you're not going to tell your crew, just, nah, fuck that. It's a watered down. Everyone knows how it's done. At the end of these reviews, you go, well, if you got something else, then, buy that instead. But if you don't have nothing, you go ahead and buy it, because you're still going to want that relationship. And that's how it works. And it's okay. It's okay, because you're a grown ass man. But I don't know, man. It's because they don't just want to relay the info that they are sponsored or have a relationship, so they can avoid being labeled a shill and losing out on the benefits of both sides. Exactly. And it's okay to be a shill. It's okay, because you're an influencer. John Wagner, objective, respected in the community, and he's an at-games shill. 1000%. John Wagner is an at-game shill, but he's so fucking respected. Why? Because he says it. This is a review unit in my, that at-game sent me, and here's the specs. This is what the 4K looks like. Here, this is just the facts, and you can do that. But that's not how a lot of other guys do it. They don't do John Wagner reviews. They do reviews to give way better favoritism to the product. And no one's looking for, don't get me wrong, no one's looking for a 100% shit on product review. But there's a massive difference from the way 99% of the YouTubers in the space does a review versus the way, say, John Wagner does a review. Now, don't get me wrong, I called John Wagner out on some stuff too, where he got caught up on shilling about the coin doors. It's like, my man, you were wrong on that crap, and you know it. But still, people respect him for a good reason, because he does objective reviews. That's just facts, my man. I'm in the mix. I'm in love with two, right? That's word to right. Exactly. I got to program this thing. I have no idea about it. And that's just like with these. Right.
On their channel get gifts because it combines your opinions. I get that understanding now. So if I ever have, anybody else on my show
And good on you
again,
for acknowledging it.
and from
pushing it.
Arcade One Up or Justin or something like that, I guess I could always disclose like how like the story of Evo, right? But at the time, at the original time, I had no fucking clue what we were doing, right? We were just having fun and getting together. So
But the thing is, there's been how many? It's just kind of hard to believe that you haven't heard, say what Michael B went through, or what's that Sword and Potion guy, or the, maybe you guys are just so big you just don't know about these other cats. But I find it hard to believe that you didn't understand what Michael B went through, and now that he understood. So it's like months ago, everyone's known about this.
So that's kind of what it was at the time to be able to talk about that.
Credit
so
to Michael
I
B
get that. I
for
appreciate that. Am I going to
learning
Evo this
that
year?
and making it right.
I don't think so. I think I'm kind of Evo'd out. I've gone the last 2 years and I haven't competed, so I don't think I'm going to be going to Evo this year personally. I don't think that's in my cards for this particular year. So where did I want to get back with this story? I'm talking a lot about 2022, kind of the downfall of the last year. 2023 was a really, really weird year as well this past year, with less releases coming out. And then the final thing that I did with John was when he asked me to do the Time Crisis mod, when he was giving out review samples and working with certain content creators to make reviews, like Sheline for the Fast and Furious cabinet. She thought she was a good example for that. He thought that I was a good person to review the Time Crisis cabinet. This was the first like official cabinet that like Arcade One Up reached out to me to actually make a review of. Like before that,
Arcade One Up didn't reach out to you. John D reached out to you. I know he works for them, but give credit what credit's due.
I hadn't got any other cabs from them, like for doing all the other work that I did in terms of the sample sale. At the sample sale, I was able to, purchase a few things and get on the list of things to buy at the discounted prices.
You're kind of glossing over that. If you're telling me I can get, like, what's the discount? You know what I mean? Like if you're telling me I'm going to get a coupon to get or a hard percentage off of something or buy something at base price, not MSRP, that's a benefit. That's a benefit. That's a benefit because nobody else has it. Or you're basically telling us you're going to be put first in line. That's favoritism. That's first dibs, which is fine. What is not fine is the late game and talking about it. It's just put it in the description, man. That's all you got to do. Thank you for whatever. But if they're telling you, we don't want you to do this, and you didn't do it, you may think it's small, but it's a violation. You can't do that, man. It's a real violation.
There we go.
And I hope you learn your lesson, Con, because like I said, I think you're welcome back, brother. So he's kind of like brushing it under, and he did it real quick. He just admitted that he got benefits for doing stuff prior by being either first in line, having a discount. Those are benefits. You're supposed to disclose that. And if you don't, I'll probably just keep your mouth shut forever and don't bring it up because it's not a good look.
Yep. Man, that and that goes in part with you because this video was deleted, right?
No, I inferred it because I mentioned that I was serious. I only caught 60 seconds of this stuff. And he said he was going to, and I stopped it. And right after that 60 seconds, I ate crow. And he was like, oh, I got to probably re-upload this because my audio is going bad. But either way, it made for good viewing, right?
I don't think I got anything for the MBC2 release except for a hoodie. So I did that. But yeah, I never got any other.
Oh shit, man.
It doesn't matter, man. You can get stickers just because it doesn't have monetary value to you. It's
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Rexer's gonna get these guys, man. What did I tell you, Kev? What did I tell you?
Yeah, man. I don't know, Rexer.
This thing stinks to high heaven. I don't want anything to do associated with Arcade One Up. And perfect time, Kev, right around 97 X-Men Cab release.
Yeah.
This guy's wearing an X-Men shirt.
This is ludicrous. It's ludicrous.
And he's just admitted that he gets cabs for pay.
This is crazy. Pinball. The man don't know nothing about that.
I've been telling you guys from day one, the guy that really truly cares for Arcade One Up, me.
We're the #1 arcade sales channel and this crap.
That's right.
I told you he was an insider.
They don't want to.
He admits I was right. Doxer admits I was right. This Doxer. This Google Doxer. This man got on Google and said, who is Rexer? And it came up as Gregory, and he doxed me and put it on the internet for all Google to know.
They talk about they talk about workspace, workforce, working. Yeah. What are you alluding to?
Right. Illuminati, and you just said it's a group. It was just a work chat? A work chat?
Oh man, that guy's gonna.
Brother, that's a poor choice of words, my man.
Yeah. Sorry, Kong. Rexer's gonna have a.
God damn, Kong. I'm rooting for you, brother. This is wow. I can't believe what I'm hearing. Bro, this is crazy.
Like free
I didn't think it was gonna get spicy, but this is spicy.
From them for doing anything. So it was like this was the first time I ever got a sample cabinet to do a review, and that was again I think in June of 2023. It was scheduled to be released in August of 2024, and a lot of things happened in that kind of Comic-Con timeframe right afterwards when John was let go. So I've been in this kind of.
See, Kong, if you ever watch this, you should correct the record. I think saying that John was let go was poor, unless you know the facts. Because now you're being a part of the drama too. Very poor choice of words. What evidence do you have to say he was let go?
That's interesting.
And if you have evidence, you just basically disclose what? So I don't think that's fair statement to say he was let go. I don't care for half these people, but I don't like nobody being, fibbed on. Nobody.
Yep.
Even my worst enemies don't. I don't need to make up something about you to make my point. You know what I mean? So poor choice of words, my man, sir. I respect you, sir. Poor choice of words. You're feeding into the drama by saying that.
Kind of like weird space, and I kind of rushed the story about where we're at with everything. I apologize for being all over the place, but I just wanted to say,
Maybe
when I
it was
started this journey on YouTube and
yeah,
at the beginning, for folks that were here at the very beginning of my stream of why I did this, like I said, it was meant to be. It was meant to be kind of like a fun hobby of building this. It took me 4.5 years to get to this space. Why did I in 2021, maybe I think it was 2021, buy my first real pinball machine. It's because I fell in love with the Arcade 1-Up pinball machine and I wanted a real one. And I discovered buying real arcades from Captain's Auctions, and I was addicted to auctions. And so do I have to, have been a fan for so long to be able to talk about something?
No.
I think right now,
Talk about whatever
recently,
the hell you
I
want.
do have some interest in making pinball content because it's fun and I'm learning a lot about it. And every time I learn something new, it's exciting to talk about. It's just like in 2020 when we were first talking about these, products at the time when they came out. It was still exciting to be able to talk about it. And so I don't think we should ever fault anybody in the YouTube space that has a different thing they want to talk about. I know people have made kind of jokes about becoming pinball channels and changing content, but it's what's exciting for them at the time. And there's like no fault for people wanting to, talk about what's exciting. And
He's 1000% right.
Yeah.
I think the issue that people are seeing is that he talked about the Illuminati. And then if all the main content channels that people will like to watch end up talking about the same thing, to the optics is every single one is a sheep and you're trying to herd us into influence into the product. And I think that's the disposition people have versus, oh, well, you've always had a pinball and I see no issues. But when other people just start jumping on and you're just like, which is their right. If I want to buy a pinball tomorrow because Kong, because these guys are the pinball guys that I see, I might get influenced, but I'm still grown. I can still make my own choices. Don't get me wrong. But like I said, it's the optics. And if you don't want the criticism of having bad optics, you just got to make better choices on how you go about it.
Yep.
Because there's a clear alignment, because you can't say there's not if you're doing 5-hour streams like me, right? As I can't do it, but as long as I only do 1 hour and then jump on someone else's stream, that's not part of the 5 hours, right?
Right.
So they're doing 5-hour streams backing each narrative, which is their right.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, but but my whole point is that why are we hearing about it now? Because this should be a non-issue. Everything he's saying that he's trying to project out is a non-issue. But it's an issue to people now because it's like, well, why are we finding out about it now? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I think at this point, man, I think people like Kong and those guys, because I guess if they feel this way, it's time to take a sabbatical, go away for a time period, and then do a show once a month. Because I guarantee, I think from whatever they're saying that's happening, whatever drama, I think they could dispel most of that just by being away for a certain time, pop up once in a while, and then it'll surprise the community, but then you would get less chatter from whatever trolls or drama that
like how do they move away from streams like I'm doing, right? And the only way is probably, like you said, take a break.
Yep. And
then come back to the point where it's like, if anyone else is doing anything about you, they don't have a leg to stand on. You know what I mean? They like, hey, the man ain't been around for like 20 days. Why the fuck you talking about him still, right? Like what content is it in doing that?
It's very
kind of like what they're doing with Kits now, right? They still talk. I see people still talk the shit on Kits, and it's like the man ain't around.
There's a short amount of time it takes to become somewhat knowledgeable about something to be able to talk about it.
Oh, your mic is out.
I'll talk about my pinball journey right now.
He'll be back.
It's stupid expensive. Yeah. But, if you can afford it, great. But not even that. I just loved eventually going out into the world and playing pinball in the wild. I think that was more exciting for me to get to know more pinballs,
I wish I could,
which I was introduced to
that.
Because of virtual pinball. Virtual pinball was my gateway
Give me a mic check.
Exploring and playing real tables for the first time. And playing an Attack from Mars or playing Red and Ted's Roadshow and then finding a real one in the wild. Like those were exciting times for me to be able to experience that. So I don't think like our home arcade journey like always leads to pinball, but I would say it led me personally there, and it leads a lot of folks there. If you've experienced it and you enjoy it, why not want to start learning about it and talk about it more? Whether you get into it now as a newbie,
I
you
don't
get
think he
into
has
it
to
6 months
justify
ago,
himself.
you got into it a year ago.
But
No.
the
It
fact that
doesn't
he's
matter if
explaining
you
it,
have a passion about it and you're talking about it now. It's because you have some valid points to talk about it. And so I don't want to ever
he's getting too
discourage
much
somebody
flack
from
from
talking about a
that.
subject that they're
Because,
interested
like I
in,
said, it's
because
mostly
they
from
think
people who
somebody
can't
else
afford this
thinks
shit.
it's because of some ulterior motive, right? I think that's my biggest point to come across. And I hate people that are, you know, possibly saying that people don't know what they're talking about and calling themselves frauds, or saying that they know more about somebody.
Man,
There was a certain portion of some recent live streams where there was some incorrect information being shared, and I thought it was funny that they were stating this as like real information, and it sounded bogus. And the people that knew more about pinball knew the truth about it. So it's I try to be cryptic without saying things, but I probably should just say it, right?
yes,
Because
you
I was
should.
eventually going to possibly make a video about it. But it was Rexer and Kevgrit when they were talking about
I
Jaws,
what I
and they were
tell
making
you.
fun of you know, Console Kids and Michael B for talking about pinball. And Kevgrit was saying that he knows they know more about pinball than us. Ha 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 ha. And then the way they were talking about Jaws was really stupid, and they didn't know exactly the difference between a Pro, Premium, and an LE. I think Rex does, but Kevgrit didn't for sure at the time. I think he was even saying stuff like, oh, like these are all Elwyn tables, like Foo Fighters was an Elwyn table. I'm like, no, that's a Jack Danger table. Like just little things, right? So it made me laugh that there's
Stupid.
I don't even know why I'm talking about it, but it's one of those things, like the people are trying to discredit people for.
That's the thing, right? Say what you mean. You're not less drama
Yes.
because, look, this is how I feel. When people do this whole drama stuff, this has nothing to do with Kong. Kong's being brave and he's speaking up. All right, guys, for everybody watching, he's being brave and he's speaking up. But here's my issue with the whole bit. When people downplay the drama bit, this is how I feel, right? Me. Just because you have no integrity to speak on what you mean doesn't make it the other person who, you know, name drops drama. Because what makes it more drama is you playing this game of not speaking on who you're talking about. Just because then that's the danger. Then that's when people go, oh, he's talking about someone else that he's not talking about.
Yes. Yep.
So why the fuck did you bring it up in the first place, right?
Yep.
So have integrity and speak on it.
Yeah.
You're not talking shit. He's speaking from his heart. He felt they were stupid or saying stupid things because they're sitting there trying to clown on him about knowledge that it's not even that big, and they were getting it wrong, and they were trying to ruin his credibility.
Yeah.
But then to do this whole, you know, I don't understand this drama, and then you're not speaking on the people who were causing all the drama. You know, it's like, come on, man, come on. But let's get into it.
Enjoying what they like. So like that's the whole point that I
enjoy what
I
you
don't
like.
enjoy about this hobby. That I think anybody that wants to talk about whatever excites them, if you're gonna go watch the Cornercade after
Just
this,
like Rex,
go watch the Cornercade and enjoy what he has to say. He's genuine and excited about what he likes to talk about. Just let people really talk about what they enjoy, and try not to think there's an ulterior motive for anything else. Justin went away from YouTube because he wants to spend more time with his family, and he wants to block out some of the noise, and he's trying to be able to shut it off and not be tempted to go back into the space, because you know, being a content creator and make
I don't know, is that his place to say? But whatever.
Good content sometimes can be a lot of pressure to, you know, try to be able to make content and stay relevant and share a story. But he's a damn good storyteller. Like, he's really talented, and if he really wanted to come back and talk about anything, he could talk about anything for an hour and he'd be great, and 100 people would watch him at any given time. I'm very topic focused. If I have a mod,
all you do is just remove the comment section, remove the people talking in the chat. Like, you'll be okay. Like, I think that's their distraction.
Yeah.
It's on everybody's comments and
Well, that and they but then they realize that when they're not engaged,
yeah,
they're not going to keep the view count.
right. That right. Wow. Yep.
And then that's why they feel compelled to allow the noise to continue in their chat, knowing damn well prior it was those same people causing issues.
Right.
Instead of going, nah, not today, Satan. You know,
I'm going to talk about where I get my audience to watch me. So again, this
like people hate on 19K, but I like his format.
I do
He'll
too.
sit there for like 30 minutes, acknowledge everybody. He's like, all right, cool. Everyone, I acknowledge everybody that decided to join me at the beginning of the stream. I'm going to talk about what I'm going to talk about and just go on. Everyone can have their little chat in there. He already acknowledged you. Sorry you showed up late. If you do a super chat and it's reasonable, he'll read it. Boom. That's it.
Right.
This was a little bit of an incoherent stream, but this was weighing a lot on my mind about, you know, why he left and why people are stopping to make content or why people do things because of what other people say. If anything, stop giving a fuck about what other people say and still continue to enjoy the early times where you still enjoyed building this hobby and talking about this stuff because it's interesting. And whatever you're interested in now, talk about that and don't feel like it's like you're being fake or have to talk about something else. I think that's what makes me sad more than anything is that people feel like they have to be a certain way because other content creators are saying stuff that influence the larger community and they feel like they might internalize it. So I hope
that content creators are saying stuff that influence the larger community. Fact check. Is Kong a content creator that's one of the largest in this community? So he's, if we go with that fallacy, which is a fact to me, then he's an influencer. You know?
Yeah, that Red Cross thing, man. I tuned in because I wanted to get me an Outrun cabinet, and if it wasn't for him putting it together with, I guess with John D, I wouldn't have never paid attention to any of that.
Right.
He's definitely a major influencer.
Major, because everyone likes him.
Mm-hmm.
For good reasons. He's a good guy. I've noticed on some of these big YouTube channels, we'll do super chats at the end of the stream, and if someone is acting a fool, they don't acknowledge them. They stop that noise. Bam. But how long has it taken for a lot of them and our community, our big YouTubers who are actually super small, but our big YouTubers to finally go, let's stop that noise, you know?
Not too many of them.
It took a long while. And let's I'm gonna just say the elephant in the room. It wasn't until She Lion sound the alarm. And thank you to those that acknowledged her and acted appropriately.
Hope that makes sense. I don't know if Justin's going to watch this or anybody else, but I love that there's a big community out there making content now. I've tried to support any other content creator that I've seen in this space. James Hates Everything and Arcades Anonymous guys and Biggie D and Cornicade. You know, I think it's great that we have guys like PD7 and folks that are really providing content that people want to watch and people are getting their fix from a lot of different places. Just going back to talk about other YouTube things that I've been involved with, I was involved somewhat with Akuma Rev and his story, right? When the retro fight game scene came out, I was really heavily involved in that retro fight game community and how that blew up apart. And so that was interesting at that time too, just supporting that.
Just enough time for me to
all these
get
little
up
pockets
and
of
get
things, and
myself
maybe I'll say that for another time. But I feel like I've been involved like ancillary between all these different feuds, but I've never been able to talk about it. And this is probably the worst place to talk about it.
All right, what did he just say?
The stream. I don't know. It made no retro fight game scene came out. I was really heavily involved in that retro fight game community and how that blew up apart. And so that was interesting at that time too, just supporting that community. There's all these little pockets of things, and maybe I'll say that for another time. But I feel like I've been involved like ancillary between all these different feuds. But
what did he say? Ancillary?
I still couldn't hear it.
But he said he's been involved in the feuds? I don't know.
I've never been able to talk
I'll
about
just
it.
ignore
This is
that, I
probably the
guess.
worst place to talk about it. I might even delete the stream. I don't know. It made no sense.
Okay, maybe that's what I heard.
Hmm.
I remember I was clipping, like click that. Not today. It's here to
I've
stay.
been rambling for an hour and 20 minutes. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this content. This is the stream of consciousness talk about. Yeah, this is terrible. I probably will delete this afterwards and just maybe I'll make a rehash video summarizing this. But
This is probably
you guys
the part I
are
heard then.
hearing it now, and we'll go from there. Looks like I got a quick little 10 gift memberships gifted by Jason Little Alien. So thank you so much for that.
You didn't see that.
I'll go ahead and listen to chat because I've been ignoring chat for the last hour. But yeah, thank you for listening to me ramble. That was a big, long stream of consciousness thing. It's a B retrospective. Thank you. Justin's music streams are really fun. I'll answer any questions that
He's
anybody has
good
at
at
this
that
point in time,
guitar,
but
isn't he,
I don't know how
Justin? He was
relevant
playing
this
one
stream
song.
is for the future.
It was nice when I
it
asked
was
him to
just
play
the audio quality is
the
bad.
guitar on
I might
his
redo
outro.
this story and do it at a different point in time.
I don't know
All
why
right. Why can't NBC2 cabs be
They
attractive?
should have a cover band. And all they should do, the cover band for this arcade community, home arcade community, is just play video game music. Like, yeah. I think Justin would be.
Yeah. Maybe I'll pitch that to him one day if he ever decides
Oh, I didn't even
to,
talk about the freaking
come through
NBC2
again.
whatchamacallit, X-Men 97 cabinet.
That's a
All
good
right, the
idea.
short story of that cabinet is that I'm pissed that it's
I'm
not
gonna bring
an
that up,
actual
man. That's
Capcom
awesome.
form
That's a
factor,
great
right? The fact
idea.
that it's not an HS5 or
He would
Deep Blue
destroy it
is
in a
totally
good way.
stupid. Like
Yeah.
they could have kept the X-Men 97 artwork and just put it in a different cap form factor. I think everybody would have been happy. The fact that they kept it in the Midway design, the MK30th deluxe
Is that
cabinet,
what's throwing
was
people off?
stupid dumb move.
I'm assuming it's
You
the
know,
design choice
why
of the
couldn't they
cabinet
just make
itself.
that a different form
Is the
factor and
bad
give
thing.
somebody else?
I
another something? It
understand
would have
that.
taken
But
nothing
what
to do
about
that.
I don't
It would
think
cost more money to
artwork
make an
is
HS5,
bad, though.
but they already did it. They sold HS5 at $500.
I must be tripping.
This is a $500 cabinet. It should
Maybe
have been
because
a
I'm
no-brainer to
gonna
do
be a
that. That was
fanboy for
stupid
that
and dumb.
97 because
Otherwise,
I'm excited
all
about
it
what's
is
about
just a
to come.
collaboration with the
Right.
Marvel Disney Plus thingy for
And I like the
X-Men 97.
white
I'm a big
thing
X-Men
going on.
97
Like I
fan.
just think it's
I
a
might
good
even make a
class. I
separate
don't know.
video
I'm
about
just
that
that
later
guy.
on.
Yeah, I like
Because
the
I
big
loved X-Men 97. It was really
where
awesome.
white portion is,
So,
but then when it gets down lower, man, it just reminds me of like it looks like it's purpose for Saturday morning cartoons, and I'm like, nah, just stick to arcade.
Right.
But like I understand where the company's going with it and who they're
Oh
trying
yeah,
to.
we got to do our poll for
Okay.
everybody else. Maybe put it in the comments later.
Okay.
Ask your children their opinion on the Marvel versus Capcom 2 cabinet. Do not be biased. Do not go, hey, what do you think? Just say only these words. What is your opinion? And show them the picture. Don't try to be like, hey, because kids, feed off of that negative energy, right? Just say, what is your opinion? And to show them the picture. And I want to hear their take. If you guys see this in the future or whatever, please put it in the comments. I really want to know because I think this is a good topic to find out if we're just a bunch of 40-year-old men that hate on stuff, or if this should be marketed for another crowd.
That's it. That's all I have to say. All right. The struggle with not wanting to give viewing time to channels that talk JAMA, but I also wanted to hear the tea. Right? Yeah, I know that stuff. What's for dinner? I think I will be making some. I got some leftover sweet potato fries and some ramen. So that sounds good. All right, even the artwork is subpar. Yeah, the X-Men 97 art. I wonder if it's like in the style of the new one that they did, and if they didn't get the actual older designers to do it. And there's like no nostalgia from an arcade perspective to have that in an arcade cabinet. I just don't really know who that's for. So like, it's absolutely just a money grab to be able to connect with the hype of X-Men 97.
Who's it?
All right, Mr. Keebler says, I don't mind the form.
The millennials, dude, that were born in
XL
97.
Deluxe cabs are more wobbly than the riser cabs. You know what? You're right. And I think I maybe will make a video about the state of the MVC2 cabinet to date. I was playing online MVC2 the other day, and I was playing East Coast people, and the lag difference was much better. So either people are getting it and they're wiring in and the experience is better. But I continue to mostly play MVC1 is my main game that I play there. But XL would have been great, but they still have this $5.99 price point for deluxe caps. A $5.99 XL for NBC2 would have been amazing. I agree. James says, what if they did that because we are getting a new HS5 and a Big Blue this year? I think they missed their opportunity if they were going to do that already. If they're going to make a Capcom Deluxe like legacy cabinet, yeah, I don't know if they would do another HS5 at this point. A Big Blue, maybe that would be awesome, but Big Blue for retailers didn't sell well. Like maybe the cabinet it turned off the general public, but arcade enthusiasts liked it. But yeah, I would hope that they would do any future Capcom titles, and that I don't get it. I love the HS5 design. I kind of wanted to get it when I was on sale for $299, but I didn't really want to. Philly Chick, Jen is here. I took several steps back from the home arcade space due to the drama and life in general. You also got into lightsabers, which are also expensive. I've seen Philly Chick's lightsabers. Philly Chick, I love you. You're awesome. You're one of the original people that I really enjoyed watching your Star Wars kick-ass videos. I always appreciate when you stop by to say hello. So thank you, Jen. I appreciate you for hanging out and being one of my early followers. Darth Blacken says, I don't think you have to disclose anything. It's your channel, your opinions, no matter how you come to them. You seem genuine to me, and thanks for your fun and education.
Kong, if I'm gonna tell you right now, if you take this man's word for a fact, you will be wrong. You do have to disclose if you actually have a real relationship with the company.
Content. Thanks. I think up to a certain point, that yeah, it is my channel and it's YouTube. People are looking for you as your personality to listen to. So I don't think there was ever anytime anybody's questioned somebody's morality about like not whatchamacallit disclosing as a way to nefariously, deceptively deceive the community about disclosures. I think that's tinfoil hat shit to me, to like think that people are honestly doing that with the intent of not.
I understand what he's saying to a degree, but he's not acknowledging the facts of the factoids. This is exactly what you were doing. I covered this already, so this isn't some tinfoil hat shit. He already admitted to this with the stint with the Time Crisis, that they were going around pitching certain things at certain moments, and at the time, Dubs jumped ahead of it, kind of thing, because he showed his friends stuff like that. That's generating false buzz. It's not like he caught on to it and did it on his own accord. No, it's like, hey, here's something that nobody knows about, and then jumping in on it.
Right, and didn't he have it?
You're generating, you're generating topics. No.
And then he had the cabinet for 2 months before everybody.
Right. So. I mean, if you're coming on the stream and you're saying that your tinfoil hat group was only for work, and somebody was saying those exact words, they're not inaccurate, and that's the thing about, where I said Rexer will go, the doctors got it right, tells me, says I'm right. Rexer's not wrong on a lot of stuff. It's his delivery. It's his delivery. It's shit. He has shit delivery. And and that's where it gets nefarious, because it's like Kong's not out here trying to take over the world, people. There's no conspiracy on that shit. Like, chill out. He's a grown man, and it is really not that big of a deal. But these are the facts, and you can't. But downplaying certain stuff is kind of like, don't downplay it, man. You made a mistake. You're educated now. Do better. Move on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
It happened. It's
mostly just because there's a lack of awareness of what to do and when to do it. I still don't clearly know what to do.
See, ignorance. Prior law enforcement, what they say about the law, ignorance of the law is what? No excuse. If you're not aware, I could probably promise you A1UP has an influencer guideline. I know Best Buy does. You know, they tell you what you can and can't do. If you're uneducated and unaware of what you need to do, I'll be more than happy to forward you the FTC.gov guidelines.
Right.
Then you can't sit there and jumble up. I still don't know what to do. Well, then educate yourself. Google it, my brother. Google it. Google it. FTC.gov. Like you just type it in. Type in what you're talking about right now. I promise you, it's going to pop up. Promise you, it's going to pop up. Now you're aware. Educate yourself. It's too simple. Anytime you have something that you know, Cyrus is buzzing in your ear and he's like, hey, hook me up. You disclose it to the necessary degree you need to disclose it and you move the fuck on.
Yeah.
But by not disclosing it and someone busts your bubble, you can only call them crazy so much. Just saying.
I know when I get an actual product in hand, like the Time Crisis or anything else that I've received.
Or like a shirt. Or being it doesn't have to just be a product. Being number one in line, getting a discount, things that are not options to civilians like me. You know, yes, he's right. Jealousy is playing a part in a lot of the negativity that's directed towards them.
Yeah.
At the same time, do your part to remove the premise of any unprofessional relationships going on. It's too easy, my man.
For value to make said content of that particular product, I put in the paid promotion disclosure and put it information thing. If I'm right now generally talking about art,
to be fair to P-Dubs, Biggie, the last 10 minutes of your stream or of the stream that I talked on, I got different facts than what was disclosed to me. So to be fair to P-Dubs, the story's not adding up, my brother. If you want to talk about it later, let me know.
Excuse me.
Arcade1Up, do I have to put that this is a fucking paid promotion because I worked with them 3 years ago? Like, and do I have to mention this every 30 seconds that I worked with Arcade1Up in the past?
See, Michael B's already done this. Don't act like you ain't talked to Michael B yet. And this is where we're downplaying BS. Come on, man. The guidelines are out there. You can't play ignorant. You're respected. You're one of the smartest people in the community. Don't try to downgrade people to where like they're crazy. It's like, oh, I didn't mention it every other sentence. So come on, man. You know how this works. You've been doing this for a while.
3 years ago, like nobody ever.
Yes. If you failed to mention something from 3 years ago and you know, you may want to disclose when it started. And move on. I fucked up, didn't know. Boom. Leave it alone. If someone brings it back up, this is the stream I brought it up on.
Yeah.
That's it. But I think the nonchalant of like passing it on is bogus.
Never does this, even if the FTC guidelines say you have to do that. That's insane. So I kind of get what you're saying, but that's a little bit funky. What am I drinking the next live stream? I need to get something to drink right now because I've been ranting for an hour and I have dry mouth. You have about 20 Optiplexes. Are you interested? Hell yeah, I'm interested, Dan Mabbit, dude. I need to get some more PCs. I didn't even talk about my
like 10 more minutes.
Star Wars like modding services portion of my YouTube channel, which I kept off of YouTube, but that was a major part of my arcade journey, was actually becoming part of providing services and modding people's Star Wars machines. I didn't even talk about that story.
I'm gonna
Dan's true. Like that's one of my first stories that I ever did was
I'm gonna mean that.
Set of Optiplexes where I did
I'm gonna like audio clip this and go.
Series has so much phenomenal artwork assets to pull from. Design peaked at NBC1.
You gave me a new short.
The NBC1 artwork, I like it, but it's not original. I think Dragon's Lair and Tron were the peak. I think those two games are freaking amazing. And the look of Time Crisis is not bad. This is one of the best looking cabinets in my opinion.
It
So
is.
yeah,
And guess who had
I wouldn't say that.
my
P-Dubs
man.
says, I like to disclose that you had a chicken quesadilla for dinner. Thank you for disclosing that, P-Dubs. I appreciate that. Darren Kane, it's only a money grab if it actually sells. Otherwise, it's a flaccid grab. Appreciate that. Did HS5 even sell well? They discounted super fast. Maybe that turned way off into the idea. I don't know. I don't know when they decide to go on sale. I know it has something to do partly with
It's
the
like me
retailer
pretending I
and
have nothing to do
inventory
with
space,
basketball.
They have to make those decisions, and
Yeah.
and part of that is the minimum
Alright.
guarantee. That's a very
He gave me
complicated
a-
question about sales and minimum guarantees and when it can go on sale that I don't know much about. Big Blue has LEDs. These little things are what the screams premium. Did Big Blue have LEDs? Like behind it?
Like we purposely
I don't
came
remember if
online
it is.
and
I
disclosed.
remember it was one of the first ones that had like a cool marquee
I
in the
have,
front.
you know what I mean?
at
Like
least
I
Big Blue
got
had
that
Big
out
Blue
there,
marquee
right?
would have been awesome. I think
blatant.
NBC2 and a Big Blue
You don't have to
would
dig
be
it
a
up
win,
anymore.
honestly. If they redesign Big Blue, I think I really like the Big Blue cabinet. I don't want to get rid of that.
See?
T Marvel says, I like X-Men 97 cap from modern standpoint. Everyone
Bam. I think that maybe I don't know why it's just me that
has
I like
a
I like
a multi-cage that's installed.
because you know you said
it seems there's enough wiggle room.
because I remember you mentioned about the Saturday morning cartoons. It's like, well, your poison is my nostalgia. Like I like it, you know, like.
For it went up to make nostalgic stuff and new.
But that's the
Yeah,
cool
if
thing, right?
X-Men
We all
97
have
was
our
your
own
jam
opinions.
and you're an NBC2
You don't
fan,
like it, so you
yeah, I
ain't
think
gonna
there's
buy
a
it. But you
market
can
for
say
that.
you don't
I
like
think
it
there's some
because
people
there's
that
no
really
hate
like
coming
that.
from you
These are
about it.
functional
And I could be like,
furniture
well, I
pieces
like
of
it. You're
art
like,
in
okay,
people's
you
living
like it.
rooms and game
And we
rooms
move the
that
fuck
look
on.
fantastic, and
Exactly.
they
How
play
hard is
decent
that?
for your casuals, right? Not expert
You know,
level people.
it's
Justin
like
Wong's
with
not going to town on
Shion.
this.
We
But
all come
it's
from
enough
different
for the casual folks
demographics,
that want a
different
nice art.
backgrounds.
So appreciate that.
Yet we're
Chris
all talking.
says, "Hey, me too, P-Dubs." Now we go to your promoting. All right.
Just like we were talking about.
P-Dubs, thought you had an NDA. Dang it. All right, NBC2
Oh,
deserves
my bad, you broke up.
Artwork inside. Let
Just
Say
like
it again.
I agree.
we were
I
talking
wish
about
they
Neo
did
Contra
NBC2
yesterday.
better.
Right.
X-Men
That
97
didn't really care
artwork
for.
looks like a new show.
Right.
Someone doesn't like the actual art itself. That means they might not like the new show design. Yeah, I watched the trailer and I think they were trying to make it like 90s artwork too, to make it like a continuation of the show, but it kind of looks shitty in 2024. I was hoping for like maybe 97 style artwork.
We were just talking about that the other day.
But you know, let's think about this. If they use the same art from the 97, whatever, it will look like shit today.
Yeah.
It doesn't look good. Now, I reminisce on the old artwork because I did like the design. But I don't know. I think it's just evolution. I think people are not going to give a fuck about it once they see the context of the plot and the audio and all that good stuff going down and what they're going to mix. I think they're just like my man here, they're going to mix in this being canonized to the MCU.
Yeah.
So we don't need a backstory no more because the X-Men that's coming to the MCU is going to be the X-Men from the cartoons. We don't need to have a background no more. It's brilliant.
Cell shaded a little bit more.
I wouldn't
but I don't
want
know. I think they're trying to make it an exact recreation.
amazing
And it
friends
just
in the
looks,
same animation. Like I grew up with that and I didn't have fond memories, but to keep it in the same animation like back in that time, no man, it needs a tweaking.
Right. Let's see what it's got to say real quick, and I'll close this off.
I want to get back into that. It's providing more design and deployed email blasts, and you wrote a ton. All right, B, finally figured out what titles RK1 can release, and they can't, and will never do. All right, we should be heading over to the Corner Cage stream. Sure, are you going on live after this, Danny? Because I'm sorry, I know I saw your time and whatnot, but let me know for my Halloween. Because then I'd have so much shit, but I'm rarely limited. I have a lot of toys.
All right. Wow, that was a lot to take in.
Yeah.
Oof. I think what I noticed a lot about streamers that pass the buck about what occurred, they know damn well what's happened was wrong. And then they go, "Oh, the drama." I think it's cowardly to not to speak on what it is, and then try to present it to your audience like it's no big deal.
Yeah.
I think that's a coward move. And I'm taking this shit to heart because you know damn well what happened. And I think it's disingenuous. I think it's low. You know, like you make good points, but then at the same time, you're downplaying serious issues, in real life issues, and don't act dumb about the stuff that's happening. There are people who are unfairly attacking other people, just like he's being unfairly attacked on topics. But then yet, when you can do right, you too, brother, don't downplay it. You know, if you're not brave enough to talk on it, I think you should keep your mouth shut.
I agree.
just keep your mouth shut. Why bring it up at all? Because if you can't talk on the topic, you're scared. But then also the disconnect is it doesn't affect me. Fine. But God damn, it must be a great world you live in that people you declare are your friends or not your friends or whatever, that you can ignore the hoopla, that you know bad actions happen to others that are good in this space.
Yeah.
To the point where actions have occurred and then you enable it. You're an enabler. Hey, go to this whatever stream, but they're the drama.
Yeah.
You know, give me a break. And I would love to hear their hot take and not some YouTube response. I'll come on the fucking show. I'll come on yours. Rebuttal me in real time.
Mm-hmm.
Rebuttal me in real time. Why what I'm saying is incorrect. I would love to hear it. Because I think in people's hearts and hearts, they know that I'm making a solid point. Even if I'm off a little bit, that I'm coming from a good place, you know. How dare you say, you know, ignore it or whatever if the actions were done to you, you wouldn't be saying none of this shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're not going to be part of the solution, you're part of the problem, and just keep your mouth shut. Like, don't even speak on it then. You know, otherwise you could be brave and go, hey, this is wrong.
Yep.
And you don't even have to say nothing else on it. You know, there comes the whole Hamilton shit, you know, with my man, you know, like, you don't stand for nothing, and what do you stand for? You know, like, what is your modus operandi? Where's your morals?
Mm.
You know, you don't have to necessarily take a side just to go, it's wrong. You know, if I said something bad, and even if we're friends, you would tell me.
Exactly. Yep.
You know, hey, you were a little off on that last stream or whatever. And, you know, I'm like, oh shit, you know, thank you for letting me know.
Mm-hmm.
Let me put it out there. Like, hey guys, I got a little carried away, and, you know, my friends brought up to me this solid point. Or even if not, I'll acknowledge you and thank you for, you know, like, so maybe they don't have good friends. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe find a better circle of people. If they're not, you know, if you don't have good friends telling you what's right or wrong, or you don't want to listen to them when they bring it to your attention, hey, this happened to this person, and you want to keep them, you know, detracting in the scene, you may be part of the problem. And I think that's what upsets me the most, is that they talk around it, generalize it, don't speak on it. Because though I enjoy his background and his story, if we get to the meats and the potatoes of everything, it's kind of like when we say but, everything prior to that ain't shit. We started off good here. Then we have nothing but the butt. Let's see here. I'm sitting here doing it like y'all can see it. Share screen. Share. Start off here, you know. Okay, we're going to talk about this. Then we don't talk about it. So about here. Then I disclose to all y'all near the end about everything. Brush it on the rug. Yeah, so, you know, so what? We had a workplace chat. So what, you know, oh, you loony bins. How many, you know, I got to disclose it every other. Who said that? Even on Rex, has Rexer even presented that every other word he's got to put out that he belongs to, you know? No. You're making up a scenario to downgrade the fact that you got caught short. And it's not a big deal, but it's a big deal if you downplay it, because now it's like you don't respect me, you don't respect your audience.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm coming from. That's my viewpoint. And like I said before, this is just my hot takes, guys. Kong is an amazing human being. His family is amazing. He makes great content. I got nothing but love for the Kongs. But this is my hot take because what is occurring and what he's talking about involved my friend, and it involved me. And I'm not going to let you downplay shit. You know? And if you don't want to be a part of whatever, then don't be a part of it. But then you don't have a place to speak, in my opinion, on it, because what are you bringing to solve this? Let's just go back playing video games, guys. Who gives a fuck? You know, it's hard to play video games if cops are knocking on your door. You know, so hard to play video games if you got chased off and you don't want to stream no more.
Yeah.
You know, come on, man. Some people are, some people are not. You're right about that. But it depends on where you're coming from. You know, are the victims of the incident sensitive, or are the people who just can't handle calling people out, you know, sensitive, or receiving a remote criticism? You know, I get criticized all the time. You know, it just comes with the territory, right? People aren't going to like me speaking on shit, but that's how it works, right? Because not everybody's got to agree. Nobody agree. Half people don't agree with me. Some people do. I'm not an influence. I got like 100 people to my subscriptions, whatever. Like, who cares? But these are my opinions. I want to speak on them. You don't have to like it. I don't really care. This is hot takes. Your opinion is your opinion. My opinion is my opinion. But please don't try to detract, digress, make it like everyone's necessarily loony. Own your lack of responsibility of being correct. And, you know, that's it. Only just catching. We'll rematch your commentary later to hear your feedback. Invite me on to. Will do, brother. Thank you for coming by. And that's what I always respect about Kong. He's not scared to come through and speak on shit. You know? And I hope you know, Kong, that once again is that these are my hot takes. It's just that this is real sensitive to me and my friends. And once again, it's not your fault. You know, you're not involved in none of this. But, you know, we have our viewpoints, right? But yeah, I would love to. I'm on Facebook if you want to reach me. But yeah, I would love to. And once again, thank you, everybody. Everybody. I mean, everybody that came through. Thank you, Kong, for everything. Once again, Kong, if you're hearing me live right now, take it objectively, please. I think once you hear the whole stream in context, it's whatever. But I think once we talk, you'll see that I'm not a bad person. But yes, you got any last takes before we head off?
No, none. Other than look, if you guys are interested in the Bash Box, just follow me on Twitter. Doing the representation as far as the license deals and proposals. We're trying to get the best games to get onto that platform. And when it does come out within the second quarter of April, it's going to be one of the best consoles out there. You're not going to have to worry about the drama that's going in between Xbox and PlayStation, or worry about who's getting what, or what games you're not going to be able to get, or what games that's going to be kept on the console. Bashbox is going to have everything.
Appreciate you, and appreciate everybody else. And once again, I hope I did this enough that I showed my passion, but without crossing the line of true disrespect. You know what I mean? Because I don't ever want to do that. I don't want anybody in here to think that I have it out for them, or that they're bad people or anything like that. From day one, Kong has been nothing but a gentleman. Same with Shotgun. Nothing but love for you guys. I just have my hot takes because these are real feelings and I wanted to express them. And that's it. These are my opinions. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they fall in line with yours. And I would love for you to come on and talk to me. Thank you all. Love you. Goodbye.
You got it.